shoot him with the beanbag gun. Boom, boom, turns and runs to the edge. I grabbed his right leg, and he fell over backwards, over the edge. And he's fighting us. And I land on my chest, and I'm looking down like 6 stories to the sidewalk. We're going over. You hear people screaming like in horror.
Ready, bro? JD, this is going to be a good one. I'm excited for it because you have been through a lot. You've accomplished a lot. And we got some things to cover. You're a U.S. soldier. Yep. You served your country, did 2 deployments overseas to Iraq in the early days, which is I always find fascinating because the stories are wild. And then you got to go back a little bit later, so things had evolved. So I would definitely want to cover those topics. You got out, became a cop. You served 18 years.
Yep.
In near the Boston police region.
About an hour outside of Boston.
About an hour outside of Boston, so I'm sure a lot of that trickles in and out. You did 18 years before you kind of got discharged due to your cancer.
Yeah.
And so you are a cancer survivor. You started it with testicular cancer.
Yeah.
Moved to your lungs, had huge chunks of your lungs removed, then eventually went to your brain. You had 2 different brain surgeries. Yep. And now you're hooking and jabbing. You started an organization, the Thin Blue Ride, which I definitely want to dig into as somebody that I've had an organization for over a decade. I know the goods, the bads, the uglies that come along with it. Yeah. So I definitely want to cover some of that. And then we'll roll into your book, man, being able to write kind of a little bit about what you've done and accomplished. I'm sure we'll cover a lot that's in there. I mean, you for crying out loud, you've done Mount Everest and some other really cool stuff. So that's, I guess, the little intro, the elevator pitch of what we're going to dive into today. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is going to be another great episode of the Wild Chaos Show. And, dude, let's dive right into it. So where are you from?
From Leicester, Massachusetts.
Leicester, Massachusetts. What's that like?
So small town, grew up on pretty much a family compound. It was Nana and Grandpa's house. They raised 10 kids. My parents built a house behind them. Aunts and uncles built a house next to them. Aunts and uncles' house built a house next to them. So now we have my sisters there, my nephew.
Damn, that's
aunts
a dream.
And uncles. We have a big 90-foot tall pine tree that my father has a crane company, so we decorate the Christmas tree every year, get a big bonfire. We call it Festivus. So I grew up on like 25 acres of woods and reservoir behind the house, so nobody could build. Mm-hmm. And there's a Worcester Airport behind that. So great to grow up in that area, ride bikes, build forts, booby traps, whatever. Now it's
when kids could be kids. Yeah,
exactly. And then go fishing. And now it's more like try to get the kids outside. I get 2 step kids, I call them my real kids. But they love, when they're outside, they love it. So it's nice to go back to where it all started.
For sure.
Yeah.
I bet you bringing them back there when, I don't know the age when, you started taking them back, but if they went from not experience anything like that to that could be a culture shock.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm sure for mom too. And if depending where she's from, if how citified she is.
Yeah. She grew up in Worcester and then moved to New Jersey for like 18 years.
Okay.
So the kids were from Jersey. And then when they came back, it was actually the first time they met the family was at our Festivus party.
Okay.
And we kind of have our own street. It's like 2 buildings, 2 houses and then a building, my dad's old welding shop. And I'm like, the kids could walk down to Nana and Grandpa. She's like, by themselves? I'm like, yeah, like we could see it. It's, it's like a couple 100 yards away.
Are you sure?
Like going from, Jersey to Leicester is a little different.
The country, big culture shock. What made you join the Army and why the Army?
So initially I was throwing it up in the air, whether Marines or Army. When I was in high school, my sister was a year older.
Okay.
And some of her friends were also older. So I was a freshman hanging out with freshmen, sophomore, juniors, seniors. And some of the seniors ended up joining the Marines. So that was an interest. And then time went on, kind of faded. I knew I still wanted to do the military thing. And then graduated 2001. worked for my dad in the steel fab shop. So I grew up, from the 8th grade on doing like work.
You got exposed. You're exposed at an early age. I mean, any fab work, being in and around those. Just, I'm sure the employees in the shop are teaching you some life lessons.
These guys, everyone called me junior, even though I'm not junior, but I was the boss's kid. And
that's a tag.
My father ran a small welding company.
Mm-hmm.
He bought it when he was 18 years old.
Really?
He went to boys trade. So he did like 2 years of high school, 2 years of trade, bought this business with like a truck and a name, and then he built it up. So
really good for him.
Yeah. Proud of Jack for like building his empire of taking care of people. Like people would come in with broken car frames. He'd weld them.
No kidding.
And a lot of the times the small stuff, not charge people.
Yeah.
Reputable in the industry and in the area. Then that built up to doing more, not union, we were scab welders. So it was just putting up relatively big structures, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And we started doing iron work, and we needed to rent cranes. Then we bought a crane. Then the cranes turned into a crane business that my dad started with my uncle.
Really?
Yeah. So we, we'd always rent it. So we're like, we might as well, buy it.
100%.
And around that time I was in high school, and I remember driving to get our second crane in West Virginia. Me and my uncle drove down, picked it up, and I was leaving for basic training like the next week. And that was October, because a month before was 9/11.
Was 9/11 a huge factor on why you joined?
Yeah, so 9/11 happened, and I think 2 days later I was down at the recruiter like, okay, this is bigger than me. I need to serve. I think everybody should do some sort of serving for a greater good.
100%.
Whether it's military. I mean, I even see it from when I was a cop, like kids in the summer, like juniors and seniors in high school in the city or towns should work with DPW to see how things work.
What's DPW?
Department of Public Works.
Okay.
So like, all the road work,
yeah,
that's not crazy work. It's kids need to figure out that there's stuff bigger than them that they should learn how to do.
Yes.
Get a shovel,
putting out cones, holding street
signs.
Like
easy stuff.
I'm with you. I feel that is a huge disconnect or an unjust service that we do to our youth in this country, because everybody claims that it's about the youth, they're the future. I think it's such bullshit in that how we pitch that we support our youth so much, because we don't.
Yeah.
We see it in our public school systems, but like just for a fact that you have these kids that are seniors, juniors, going in the senior year, seniors, whatever. If we truly cared about these kids, I feel these cities would start opening up more programs to them.
Yeah.
And not forcing them, but hey, you get either extra credits, you can graduate early.
Exactly.
Work this summer program where you're digging ditches, you're setting out cones, you're helping, whatever it may be. There's a million jobs that we can put these kids into where they're learning some sort of skill to make them just start thinking like,
Get
hey,
the wheels turning.
This is the real world. I'm probably should have paid attention all these years, or maybe college isn't so bad, or they might get into and find some foreman that really enjoys them, brings them on, and now they're stepping right into a job.
You go right into blue collar, there is money in
100%.
Working with your hands. Like
100%.
It's, I think our generation it was always go to college.
Yeah.
And college was never on my radar. I applied to one college. My sister went to Dean College.
Mm-hmm.
They had a, football team. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try and get on, whatever. I applied. I took bullshit classes my senior year because I just never.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I never took it seriously. I was, doing burnouts in my Camaro, doing video 1, video 2, gym class, the basic stuff to get by.
I took choir because my aunt was the choir teacher, and it was a guaranteed A, and I ended up running the sound and lights. And so she was like, perfect.
Super easy.
Yeah, senior year.
And it was, playing on the football team. It was like small town, but we ended up, winning our Super Bowl. We played West Springfield, which we were not, we were the underdog, which was pretty cool. So growing up, doing youth sports, I think that helped with the mindset of, the team mentality. For
sure.
And going into the military, that also helped with previously playing sports, playing Pop Warner football, be like, oh, this sucks. Going into the Army, like, well, this sucks. But I've had it worse before. So, you know, you take your previous sufferings and you learn from those
Yeah.
and carry those on to the next thing. Because if you see people that get into a tough situation and they've never been in a tough situation,
It shows.
that is their biggest roadblock. And some people cannot get around it.
I feel the majority of people, that's when they quit.
Yeah.
And that's when they quit with business, life, relationships. That is such a crucial thing for young people to learn.
Yeah.
Is those roadblocks and how to overcome them. Like with like our kids, figure it out. Come back to me with a solution, and if it's not, we'll guide you through it. But like, you need to start the thought process, which I feel there's so many hover parents these days.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an iPad, here's this, and they just bubble their kids, and then now they have this adult child that's never been told no, never had the struggle because they've had everything just provided to them due to the parents protecting and raising their child, and then now you have this 18-year-old man child that lives in your house throwing tantrums because now he's got to go get a real job.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I remember going to once when I joined the Army, they had a better deal than the Marines did. They had the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Always
They had,
more money, more funding, everything.
And a bigger bonus for doing the same job. I'm like, well, I might as well drive trucks in the Army.
Facts.
Because that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about going active duty, and then I told myself, if I join active duty and I'm stuck somewhere for 2 years, there's no way out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went reserve.
So you're smart.
And I said, if I like it, I could put in to go active duty. Smart. And I mean, I thrived, meaning I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I went to basic. We're marching around. We're running around. We're shooting. I'm like, we're getting paid for this? I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I'd be at home grinding and sucking up dust and priming these beams. Like,
I got to march.
That,
I got to get up a little early.
This stuff's easy. Like, this is awesome. Thriving in that hands-on learning environment.
So at boot camp, thrived.
Oh yeah,
not an issue. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's Army? 'Cause you guys call it basic training, right?
Yeah.
What is basic training like in the Army?
So
what year is this? What year did you go?
2003. So it was the push when everyone signed up.
Okay.
And I was actually in reception, which is you get off the bus, you process. It's not like the movies where you get off, they shave your head, and you go right in.
Okay.
It's more. I mean, the Marines may be like that,
That's
but
100% like that.
Yeah. So we get off, and it was paperwork. And they were pushing all the combat arms ahead because we were support MOSs like truck drivers, generator, you know, you name it, like non-combat arms. So we had a 2-week lag period to start basic because there was such an influx of people signing up after 9/11.
So you had huge classes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we ended up Fort Knox, Kentucky, do some paperwork, go to CIF, get our camis and get our, you know, you guys call them sea bags, like get all our gear.
What do you guys call them?
Duffel bags.
Okay.
And
makes sense.
Just sitting in these kind of secondary barracks.
Yep.
Going to chow, going to standing formation.
The waiting barracks.
So it was waiting, yeah. So like you couldn't smoke and you could joke a little bit, like it was.
But it's pre-basic,
so everyone's like, dude, don't eat the Krispy Kreme donuts in the chow line.
You guys had Krispy Kreme donuts?
They served them like nobody touched them.
This is some Army shit. You guys got Krispy Kreme donuts. Yeah. Oh my God! See, yeah, that's why I tell everybody don't join the Marine Corps. Go everywhere.
And then as soon as we started, it was like and all we did was walk from one company area to another, and it was like
all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was crazy. It was fun. You know, if you're late for not even late for formation, everyone not fast enough. Everyone go inside, do it again. Get in your PTs, come out, move the bunks out. And move them in, move the whole barracks in and out. Like, it was wild. Polish the floors. And then, you guys aren't carrying your own weight. And then you do like a seal walk. So your boots are shining and scraping like a nail trail all the way around.
You guys are still buff.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are still.
Yeah, we had the black boots. And
oh, see, I dodged all that.
Yeah.
I was like the second.
Because 2003, you guys had the digis, right?
I was one of the original classes that they just ended it. Like we missed it by like weeks, I believe, because there were still guys at boot camp wearing the old camis, but we got the new ones and it was like a big deal. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. And we didn't have to
that was
brush your boots and polish them and all. I hear guys talking those stories like I'll give old school Marines or vets, you guys can have the polished boots. What is
starch
your seams and all that shit. I'm cool with. I'm never doing any of that because you guys don't know. You're the new Corps. You guys have it so easy. Yes,
Well,
I'll take it.
Let's more time. It was either cleaning your boots or cleaning your weapon.
Yeah, it's just more time. But then
more time.
they just substituted
with
hazing
something else.
Yeah, instead of you sitting there for hours waxing your boots or polishing your boots, now you're doing something stupid, even dumber. So yeah, they'll find the time.
Yeah. So basic. Went to truck driving school down in Fort Leonard Wood.
Okay.
Learned how to drive trucks, and then I realized I was going into a POL unit, which is a fuel transportation unit out of Brockton.
Really?
So I get attached to 325th Trans out of Brockton, Mass.
So you guys are hauling the big fuel trucks?
Yeah. So there's 10,000 gallon. We did 5,000 gallon.
Okay.
And if they're 5,000 gallon, you fill them with like 4,700 gallons.
Are the 10,000 gallons the double tankers, or are they just the long?
They're just the big, huge ones. Yeah, ours are a little more. Just a little smaller. So go to the unit and go to Canada for training.
Canada?
Yeah, I went to Gagetown, Canada for our first AT. Like a
How
2
far
weeks
over the
summer.
border is that?
Not too. It took us 2 days to get there because we were driving Humvees and.
You guys drove for 2. Oh my God! How much did you guys break down at all?
Yeah, we stopped in Maine for an overnight, and then. I was brand new. I was driving like the platoon sergeant's vehicle.
How loud is it in these trucks?
You can't even talk to each other.
So you're driving for 2 days just in this screaming military truck.
Oh, my platoon sergeant was a nerd, so he kept like falling asleep, and I'm like E2 nothing, just started.
Yeah.
And this dude's sleeping, so I just like look over and I go over the rumble strips.
and then with those military tires, like the whole truck is just vibrating.
So funny. It was funny though. So did the training, and then. Fast forward to January. I remember I'm at home living with my parents, 20 years old. We're watching We Were Soldiers.
Okay.
I get a phone call. We're going. Like, grab your shit. Come to the unit this weekend. We got orders.
That's how it happens in a reserve unit?
Yeah. They're like.
That kind of gives you goosebumps. So you're just hanging out with your family. And
just chilling.
You just get a phone call.
Watching We Were Soldiers. Like.
Really? What are the chances?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is kind of what I signed up for.
What year is this?
03.
Okay. So you're
January 03.
So I'm just going to boot camp.
Yeah.
You're getting the call to go to Iraq.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I went right in the very beginning of January.
So then we go to Fort Drum.
Okay.
And spent 2.5 months there. We were supposed to go to Turkey, but then that got jacked up. So we're trying to figure out where they're going to send the POL unit. We ended up going to Kuwait initially.
Let's talk Fort Drum real quick.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me because I grew up. I'm 20 minutes north of Fort Drum. I had to deal with bum drums or drum bums our whole entire life. What's it like on a military side? Because greatest place you could ever imagine growing up.
I bet.
In my opinion, on the St. Lawrence River, the frozen tundra in the wintertime, but the Army goes there to do their cold weather training.
Yeah.
What's it like from your perspective of having to go up there? I'm sure it's not as much fun for you guys.
Yeah. So we drove on coach buses from Brockton to Fort Drum.
Okay.
And the buses pull up. It's, foot of snow on the ground maybe. And we're pulling up to these World War II barracks, and we're laughing, looking out the window. The bus stops.
Who the hell's got to live in these things?
Bus stops, and we're like, oh, shit. So we get out. These are abandoned barracks that they used from whenever, right? Like every base has them.
For sure.
And they put new rooftops on them every year because if they don't use it, they lose it for funding.
New coats of paint.
So, new coats of paint, whatever. And
over 100 other layers of paint.
So I remember we had 4-man rooms, wall lockers in the middle, open bay showers, and we just got ready. So to mobilize a reserve unit, everyone's dental has to be up to date, medical, all the paperwork, get your affairs in order, on top of weapons call, PT.
God, I would not want to do the logistics for that.
So it's crazy. And I mean, hats off to my company commander, Captain Engano. He was like 32, 33 at the time, in charge of a whole company.
You don't think of that as a young troop in your leadership because they're still young
Yeah.
themselves.
Like I'm 42. I don't want to be in charge of 120,
A bunch of reservist kids? Hell no. That's
Yeah.
that's like herding cats.
Yeah.
They're just everywhere in
Yeah.
every direction.
What's funny in our unit, we actually had a lot of senior guys that
Okay.
like guys that have been in for a long time. We actually had this one guy who was a Vietnam vet.
Really?
Yeah. He
You had
ended
a
up
Vietnam vet in your reserve unit and
Yeah.
he got deployed?
he did not get
That'd
deployed.
have been
Actually,
cool.
no, one did get deployed.
That would be
Another
cool.
guy didn't because of medical.
Okay.
But yeah, they, ripped my wisdom teeth out, 5 shots of Novocaine. Like, all right, you're ready. Dude, I went to dental. This colonel was a dentist. And they go, yeah, we're going to pull these teeth. He didn't say wisdom teeth. And I was still 20 years old. That was like when people were getting their wisdom teeth taken out. And I was like clueless. I thought he was just pulling some teeth. 5 shots of Novocaine. He's like, yeah, you might hear some pops
Oh
and
my
cracks.
God, no.
He had his knee on my chest. Pulled one. He's like, tap me if it hurts. I'm like slapping the crap out of him. I'm like, dude, pulls another one. And then we're just chewing on cotton balls. So it'll.
I want to dig into this. I have a weird, slight conspiracy about the military pulling wisdom teeth, that they're using them for something. Why the fuck else are they forcing everybody
Yeah.
to pull?
They weren't bothered. There was other
They tried
dudes
to
there
get me-
too. Like we looked like chipmunks in the waiting room.
The
We're
whole
all just
platoon.
Like, yeah.
They tried that shit with me at boot camp, and my parents spent a lot of money on my teeth when
Yeah.
I was a kid. It was big because we didn't have any money,
Yeah.
so it was a big ordeal. And I'll never forget the dentist is like, you have perfect wisdom teeth. Everything is coming straight. Your everything is perfect. Like the ones that you normally have pulled. I get to boot camp and they're like, we're pulling wisdoms and molars or whatever. And I was like, even as a kid, 18-year-old kid, I was like, no, like,
Yeah.
you're not pulling mine. Like, I remember my dentist said I was good. And they're like, to get the fuck out of line. And that was all it took.
Yeah.
But then everybody else are like, who hasn't had their wisdom teeth? Who's
They want
got
to hurry up and get the training anyways. So they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and they're not technically the drill instructors. They're just the medical side of it. So I was like, my teeth are perfect. And they
Yeah.
were like, get the fuck out of line. Well, then my rack mate, he got his pulled. And there's half the platoon is left behind in chow because they all got gauze in there. Dude, I was bringing these dudes steaks. My
Yeah.
rack mate, it was steak night when he was recovering from his teeth. And I got him, you're supposed to just get him like applesauce and
Yeah.
bread. That's what you guys live off of for like the first week. He's over there just pulling. And I'll have him on one day because he's a U.S. Marshal now, so he's all over the world. But when I get him on one day, and he's sitting there on the quarterdeck just tearing the steak apart, and there's just blood pouring it. He didn't even care because you're not eating anything. I think the last like 4 days prior to that, I would just bring him applesauce with white bread, and that's what he was eating. So it's all he lived off of for like 3 or 4 days. So I would go through the chow line, and I see steaks at night. I'm like, dude, I gotta hook my boy up.
That's funny.
He didn't care though. But yeah, it's so interesting that
Yeah.
they pull. Like, why?
Pulling a bunch of teeth. So I remember someone in our unit, she had her wisdom teeth and she needed to go to like Kuwait to have surgery. And then
While you're in overseas?
while we were in
Okay.
Iraq, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll go in. So we end up going to Iraq. I mean, dude, it was so cold in Fort Drum. We had our trucks. We had 818s, which were like,
yeah.
if you look at Vietnam, those are the trucks we had.
Okay, yeah.
Like the truck that was in Rambo, like like those trucks.
Yeah.
So we're bringing those to Iraq.
You guys drove those all the way up to Fort Drum?
We didn't drive them.
Okay.
They were there after we got there.
Okay.
Somehow,
Okay.
so another unit or whatever. And we had our motor pool, and it was so cold, the fuel would gel up and the trucks would stall. So instead of fire watch, we needed to have fuel watch, and dudes would stay up all night, and we'd rotate on keeping the trucks running.
Really?
Yeah.
People don't think. See, when they're like, yeah, sign
And
up.
we're like, oh yeah, we're going to Iraq.
But you don't realize how cold it is. It's not, I don't know if it's that cold in Iraq, but I was fortunate enough to do end of summer,
Yeah.
fall, winter, spring, gone.
Yeah.
But we froze our asses off in
Yeah.
Iraq. So it does get
Yeah.
miserably cold there.
First time was hot. Second time we had the fleece with the beanies and stuff.
Yeah,
And that
you
was
lucky
better.
sons of bitches.
Yeah.
On you walking around with your black zip up.
Yep.
I have one. I have a story about those black fleeces. I've told on here that we stole a bunch one night
Oh, really?
out of a motor pool. My buddy's vehicle went down, and we had to fix some stuff on it to get it back up and running. And I'll never forget, as we're working on it, I see these soldiers come into the motor. They're in a big lot next to us, but with a chain link fence dividing us. And these dudes are pulling fleeces out of these black boxes. And here we are in flight suits that are underwear, t-shirt thin, freezing in the middle of the night in Iraq in our flight suits. And I'm seeing this. And so I cut a hole in the fence with wire cutters. Yeah. And we snuck in, and we stole so many of them.
That's what deployment is about, is acquiring equipment.
Strategically requiring your equipment.
Yeah, it's the best. We just steal from everybody.
Yeah, we're the only Marines, I think, in country with black Army fleeces. They were so nice. God, those things were a lifesaver.
Yeah.
So you guys, you freeze your ass off at Fort Drum for a bit.
Yeah.
How long after you guys did that training were you in Iraq?
So 2.5 months of training. We ended up landing in Kuwait March 24th, 2003. We had commercial planes that were leased or rented from the military with regular, flight attendants and staff. We land in, I forget the name, Arifjan, maybe.
Yeah.
And getting off the plane, everyone's grabbing their gear. We could feel the heat coming in.
Oh.
And then we hear lightning, lightning, lightning. Everyone's looking around like, what the hell is lightning?
As you're getting off the plane?
As we're getting off the plane, middle of the day. And then getting off, you see dudes like donning their masks and running into bunkers. We're like, oh, okay. Because during training, they say gas, gas, gas.
Yep.
And everyone throws stops breathing, close your eyes, put your mask on.
Worst training ever.
So now we're running to bunkers. I run to a bunker, and this British dude, I can tell by the camouflage, he's like, no room in here, mate, and shuts the door. So then me and my buddies go find another bunker to hunker down in. And then once you put your masks on, you have to put your J's list, your other chemical suit on. So we get our mask, go in the bunker, and then it's like you put on these overalls, put on the jacket, put on the gloves, put on the boots. And then I'm sitting there looking at my water bottle, because in the masks there's a straw that you could grab with your tongue, and then you grab it on the outside and you plug it in the top of the canteen. Mm-hmm. We did not have canteens of water. We had the liters of water.
So you're sitting here.
So I'm looking at this water, sweating, and I'm just like, yep, like, this is welcome to war, I guess.
Yeah, welcome to Kuwait.
Yeah, welcome to Kuwait.
So you guys are in Kuwait minutes before you get incoming attack.
Yeah.
So this is the fascinating part that I have with you guys, of the early war dogs that were there during the mop suit days, because as the senior, so you would be a senior guy to us, because when I hit the fleet, everybody was doing like the push and doing all that stuff. But you hear all these stories of like, oh, we were in mop suits and chemical suits for
weeks,
for 3 weeks straight, the shit and piss in them. Like, you guys can have that era.
So the mop suits, you have your camouflage uniform, t-shirt, camis, blouse, pants. And then when the alert goes on, you put on your suit over that. Like, you're not taking your pants and jacket off. You're like throwing your suit on. And we had OD green camo.
Cooking in the sun.
Yeah, we were cooking. We were a bunch of nerds. Everyone's in desert gear, and we're in our
reserve. So then you can tell who the reserve is.
Yeah, like, look at those guys. And then
newbies.
So then after that, some guys, if they were walking around in chem suit, we didn't at that time. We were still kind of like, I mean, that base was kind of a garrison base.
Yeah,
like you still have to be in uniform. And then we go to the chow hall, and then we'd play baseball, drink some Tang, like listen to NPR.
How long were you there for?
It felt like forever. I think it was 5 days.
Okay.
Because I remember hearing on NPR or whatever radio station that Jessica Lynch got captured during one of the convoys.
Okay.
And then we are, a new transportation company going north to Iraq. We're like, oh, okay, this is.
Oh, that's right, because she was Motor T.
Yeah.
And so here you guys are listening to because their convoy got ambushed. A bunch of people got killed, if I remember correctly, right?
I'm not. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure, but I remember.
Don't hold me to that. Instagram veteran TikTokers.
Yeah.
They make sure to.
So then my company commander asked for volunteers to go to Iraq.
Really? So they weren't taking all of you, just volunteers?
They wanted the advance party.
Okay.
Me and my buddy Lid were like this. We're like, dude, let's go. We didn't come here to hang out.
For sure.
So we hop in the back of a 5-ton open cargo truck, rucksacks on the sides hanging off because we needed more room inside because
Yeah.
I don't know how many troops you fit in the back of a 5-ton, but we exceeded that.
Always one more. There was
Yeah.
always room for one more.
And there was I remember a spare tire in the middle, and we were just baking in the sun. So from Arifjan all the way to the Iraq border,
How long did that take of a ride?
maybe 3 to 5 hours.
I compare anything that you do in Iraq is like
Distance.
Texas.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna go check out this little village, and like 8 hours later, you're like, bro, like, where the
Yeah.
fuck is this place?
Yeah.
So everything is like driving in Texas. It's like just nothing is just the next town over. It was always hours.
Yeah.
So you guys are no armored vehicles.
No.
You're an open top 5-ton.
Yeah.
Just cruising the roads in Iraq.
Cruising the road. So we get to the DMZ south of the border. Like you could see the border.
Yeah.
Like this big trench and fences and tanks dug in. And everyone's
So a lot of that was from the Gulf War, correct? Or was this all?
I think this is all new.
Okay. Sorry.
And then guys are taking their chem suits off because we saw other guys doing it, like monkey see, monkey do. They're taking their stuff off, like, oh, Iraq's not going to bomb Iraq. And back to when we landed the plane, it was either March 24th or 27th. They actually sent 2 Scuds, and one landed in the Persian Gulf, and the other one hit like a Starbucks in Kuwait. So it was either like we kept putting our suits on every like 5 times a day.
Oh, so every time
We had some fake alerts. I remember waking up in the middle of the night to a huge bang. The next day, the base was like, yeah, that was just a Connex. We're like, was it? Was it just a Connex that dropped?
So here's a question: did you ever get to the point when there had these nuclear
Oh yeah,
attacks where you just lay there and were like, fuck, I don't even care?
yeah. We're just like, sitting in our tents because we were still everyone was together everywhere. So
Yeah.
like you still had everyone would be like, dude, put your shit on.
Yeah, don't be the guy. I was that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even give a shit. If it's my
Yeah.
time, it's my time. That's
And then you're like, what if it's real? Like, let me just throw this on.
And then when you're the only one, you're like, all right, I'll get dressed, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we take our J's-less off, chem suits off, and we're driving through the border. And there's a little village that we're driving through, and these kids come out. And, just after that, we're driving by these burnt vehicles that are like newly burnt
No shit.
from the push.
Yep.
And we drive up probably a couple more hours. And then on the left side of the road, we're heading north on MSR Tampa, Highway 8 or Highway of Death, whatever. There's the highway, and then there's hundreds of vehicles from Desert Storm that were blown up that they just pushed to the side of the road.
I mean, that's cool to be able to see like history like that.
Yeah.
So you're there. What was the feeling like seeing all of this war wreckage, and here you are brand new, and you just volunteered to like cross the border into Iraq?
Yeah, I'm like, so it's kind of like when you see something crazy. I think it's called like operant extinction. Like you see something, and then you adapt to it, and you're like, oh, like all right, on to the next. So you see something else crazy, and then it's pushed to the side.
It just raises
It's building up, and you're like, oh, we're going to Iraq. We're like, oh, we're in Iraq. It's not that bad. Oh, we're going north. Oh, there's some burnt vehicles. Oh, well, it's not us. Like we're not getting shot at.
You're right. Yeah, when
You
you
know?
think of it like that.
I think in Generation Kill, they had a great point. They were getting shot at. They were behind a 7-ton tire. And he's like, people say Iraq's not safe. He's like, I'm pretty safe right here. He's behind the tire. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of how you think. Like,
Yeah.
I guess that's my mindset. Like,
100%.
We're safe now. So we drove up, and then we drove to Camp Cedar 1, middle of nowhere. Like, get off the 5-ton, and the dust just rises. So that base was right off the highway, easy on and off, middle of nowhere. And we had 10,000-gallon tankers on that base. This was like a no berm, no wire. It was nothing.
Just in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. We had a winter tent with no floors. There was so many soldiers in that tent. Cots were like stacked on.
Oh yeah, the rods are on, the bars are on. Yeah, been
And
there.
then I go to the chow hall. It was basically the trailer where they have like the T-rats. So it's like the lasagna style dishes, and I forget what it was. I remember green beans and probably some meat, but I remember like just bugs being in it. And I was just so hungry. I was just shoveling everything in my mouth. and I look like east, and I see this huge like wave. It's a sandstorm coming.
Oh,
So everyone's like hustling, finishing their chow, going to the tent, and it's just like you can't see from me to you away.
Yeah.
And I'm in the tent. I'm like, oh, like, all right, this ain't that bad. There's still sand blowing everywhere. And then I'm laying down. I go, crap, I forgot my sleeping bag.
Where?
So wherever I got off the truck,
No.
so I did a pace count to like go find my sleeping bag, put my goggles on, found it, came back. Like,
Oh my
we
God.
had like winter sleeping. We had like the old style. We didn't have the 3-layer Gore-Tex. We had like the feather winter
Okay.
furry bags. Like you just kind of slept on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was day one. I'm like, all right,
That was all in the first day.
yeah.
That's insane.
Then we started right seating with a New York City company. We were doing fuel transportation, and they were kind of showing us the ropes. They were there for I don't know how long, month or two. And on our base, they had 10,000 gallon fuel tankers. Open up the J valve, like a 6-inch valve on the back of the truck, and they would empty fuel all over the road to keep the dust down.
That's insane.
So we didn't have water. We had fuel, and they were just driving around,
Spraying fuel.
spraying fuel everywhere.
Because that moon dust is a whole other level.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like if you're the first truck, you can drive. If you're the second truck, you could kind of see. We have 30 trucks. If you're the third, fourth, fifth, all the way to 30, you can't see anything in front of you.
no.
Like there are points we're driving, our SOP was don't stop.
I was going to say, there's horrible wrecks. All that you hear
Oh, yeah.
about, like guys getting killed because the moon dust is so bad and a vehicle stops.
Not only that, we have 30 trucks going north, and then you have tanks or other trucks coming south.
Oh, God.
So your first trucks see each other. Like, hey, what's up, dude? And then all of a sudden, 10 trucks in or 20 trucks in. It was so bad. I remember we couldn't see our hood.
Oh, for
It
sure.
was so sandy. And I'm looking out of the side of the truck to see the tire marks in the road to be like, dude, pull a little right. We had a few guys get head-on collisions.
I believe it, for sure.
And we were driving the 818s, and they also had those hets, those ones that drove the Bradleys, like those huge, those massive cabs that fit like 7 dudes.
Yeah.
Like those were oncoming to us. Like we don't stand a chance.
No.
So we did missions every day.
What did your missions consist of?
So basically we'd fill up our fuel on our base. People would bring it north, put it in the bladders. We would fill up and then go north. We'd go through the Sunni Triangle. We'd go east. We'd go west around Baghdad. Not really in. We'd go north of Baghdad. We went to every base. We went to.
You got to experience Iraq on a whole different level.
Oh yeah.
I feel than most people. Like for us, we're operating out of either a fob or a little mini base.
Yeah.
But that was it for the weeks, months we were there. Then before moving, you're bouncing all over the, I guess, regions. You're not doing the whole country, but so you got to see a lot of different perspectives on how people were living.
Oh yeah, it was wild. It was like some bases had nothing. I remember
Who had the worst bases?
I think it was Al Hilla. I want to say Mongolians might have been a coalition base. It was super small.
Mongolians.
Dude, it was weird. Like these guys they had AKs, but they were like 5.56.
Okay.
So like NATO, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
And like I get a picture with us with the AKs. Like we had a Humvee, a pickup truck style Humvee with bench seats, plywood on the roof, MRE boxes, and then a ratchet strap. And then I was a saw gunner, so I'd sit on a MRE box upright, and that'd be our gun truck. So we'd have 3 gun trucks. Platoon leaders would be in those, first, second, third platoon. First platoon would run the mission. The LT and the gun truck would be in one Humvee.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other 2 guys would bound or whatever. Iraqis would drive in our convoy, like in between our convoys of fuel trucks.
Oh, for sure.
And we'd like point guns at them, like beat it. You know, there was no 300-meter bubble like we had in 05. The IEDs weren't a thing.
Yeah.
It was more pop shots, booby traps of like they were putting, piano wire across so guys are in turrets.
I remember that was a thing, piano wire.
Yeah, and then there was they were using washing machine timers with bomb, like very
primitive. Yeah, the early days, and this is where it's
like grenade with an elastic, put it in gasoline until it eats away and at the elastic to release the spoon.
So you got to experience pre-IED days.
Yeah.
So which was obviously you guys being in no armored vehicles and softbacks and stuff. So the roads were probably way less stressful because you're not thinking we're
getting shot at. Like
we're
just thinking about getting shot at or I think the only IEDs were like landmines that they were figuring out to bury in a road somewhere. But, a lot of the roads we were traveled on were pretty, they were busy.
Yeah.
And then there were sometimes we'd break down, like 18-wheelers we had. We would drive, we'd get a flat tire, you'd feel it, you'd be like, all right, keep going. Get 2 flat tires, like, all right, sometimes I think 2, we would stop. Sometimes we had 2 and we were just like, dude, keep driving. Like, who cares?
Really?
But one time me and my buddy broke down. We're in the middle of nowhere and the maintenance vehicle, they kept going.
Yeah.
So we're in the middle of like in the movies, like desert.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We're sitting under the truck because it's about 130 degrees. And then this little fat Iraqi kid walks up wearing like a Cartman t-shirt. Like, bro, that's hilarious. Like, where did you come from?
Yes.
And then other Iraqis keep showing up. And, this is a little more, not southern Iraq, but like south of the Sunni Triangle. Okay. So, like, soldiers got food and water and money. So they're just like hanging out.
Yeah.
And, like, however long later, maybe 40 minutes, the guys come back and we fix our truck and keep going.
That was one thing that always fascinated me about Iraq was you could be in the middle of nowhere, driving for hours, stop for whatever reason, IED, vehicle goes down, whatever it may be, and then these kids would just pop up out of nowhere.
Like, Mister.
Water, Mister.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, where the fuck, like, where do these kids do?
Yeah.
And it's flat. It's not like you're in terrain where you can't see for miles. Like, you could literally watch a vehicle drive for miles.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's just this kid. And then this little girl shows up, and then another little boy, and you're looking around like, where? It always reminded me of like the Mad Max, the original movie.
Oh yeah,
where the kid just like comes crawling out of like a pile of like rubble, and
yeah.
and here he is. It's like, where these kids just spawn out of nowhere? Do you give them a case of water and some MREs, and they'd be the happiest, and run off. They just pick a direction and run. You're like, where are these kids going?
I think. Well, Al Hilla, back to the base. I think there was the smallest base that we stayed at.
Okay.
I remember sleeping usually I'd sleep on the roof of the Humvee or the hood. And then I remember like the tracer rounds just like going over, like green tracers. And I'm laying there like, must be a wedding or something.
Yeah. They just shoot into the sky for any reason.
And, some other bases in 05, 06 were a little more like, we were there in the wet season.
Okay.
And we were Anaconda.
Okay.
So north of Baghdad. And some of these bases where you need to go down these roads with either a tank or an Apache gunship. Like, that's how bad they were.
Really?
Yeah. So it felt pretty cool. I was a 50 cal gunner, the second deployment, E5. My buddy Duclaw was a driver. And then we had Sully as our TC. And we just I was always gunning. Duclaw was always driving. Sully was always TC. We're like,
that's cool when you can get a groove like that.
Yeah.
Of some buddies.
Yeah. So, it was cool. I had nogs on, looking up. Started early in the morning. I look up and I see this Apache gunship. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, I want to see that thing get to work.
You feel invincible when
because I heard a week before that or a few weeks before that, they had M1 Abrams tanks and they were getting shot at by one of the houses. It's super, it kind of reminded me of like seeing Black Hawk Down, the style of houses.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going through and they were getting shot at by a house and that M1 just laid into one, like, gone.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, that's where we're going next week.
There's nothing cooler than watching an Abrams put a main gun through someone's front door. Dude, the first time I ever was standing, not next to, like, parallel with the tank, but we were slightly behind it, and they let a main round off, and it was
loud.
I swear, and I should ask I have had one of my best friends on a couple of times. He's a tanker. I swear to God, when that main gun went off, it sucked the air out of my lungs. Like
Probably.
you couldn't breathe. You just froze. It was so powerful. You couldn't hear anything. You're trying to like regroup of what just happened. And then you're like, and then everybody, you turn around and everybody behind you is like, it's like, like just ringing. And then you go to the VA now, they're like, do you have tendonitis? And it's like
huh?
yeah, standing next to him. Abrams, when the main gun sucked the soul out of my body.
Remember the second deployment, we were like on Mobile or one of those like roads kind of on Anbar province. And I was in the gun and one went off. It was far away. It was there, and I thought IED went off. I look, and the thing was probably half-mile away. I was like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah, bro, it's badass. Yeah. It's even cool watching, because we got to do a lot, because I was a tracker, so we're like the little brothers to Abrams. I had to admit that. But we did some training with them, and, dude, they were shooting just flat, and you can watch that round, like the dust trail.
Oh, yeah.
It sucked the dirt behind it. It was so badass. Awesome. But yeah, dude, there's nothing cooler, I think, on the ground in a combat zone than an Abrams tank.
Yeah.
They're pretty legit.
Far advanced.
So you're dealing with two different styles of war because you got to go in the early days, I don't want to say relaxed, like complacency wise, but gear wise, you have no armor.
Yeah, nobody gave us shit. Like, it was so hot. It got up to 140 degrees. We had Vietnam style flak jackets. We were down to like the brown T-shirts. They're like, yeah, you can wear T-shirts, whatever. And then we'd get on base, we'd throw them on. And second deployment, actually, yeah, like our first deployment, we had a soft Humvee. We had soft doors. Yeah. We traded our doors for MREs at one point. Like early on, we were down to like 1 MRE a day, 2 bottles of water, 1 to drink, 1 to shave, and personal hygiene. So it'd be like brush your teeth and then cut the top. Shave, because I get to shave every day, or like
you're one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was crazy. Our showers were a decon station for
chemicals,
chemical attack. So like that's how it started. And then fast forward, go home, like volunteer for the second deployment, which is instead of 325 getting deployed again, they activated the 220th out of New Hampshire. So it was just kind of like a rotation of units, and then they added on guys to get the numbers up. So then we deployed out of Indiana, 2 month pre-mob, kind of the same thing. IEDs were a thing, so we're going through all that training.
Yep. And
then we go to Kuwait again, and then go to Al-Assad.
Okay.
Sorry, Anaconda.
Okay.
We did, first platoon was gun trucks, second and third were line haul. Did that for a couple months, and then we got attached to 377 Field Artillery active duty guys out of Fort Bragg. So we roll in, and they're like, who are these reserve truck drivers? Like, gross.
And for people listening, active duty, and especially in-country active duty, hate.
Oh, yeah.
Reservists.
Yeah.
And there's good reasons. You can justify most of the reasons why. There's just a difference because because an active duty, you're living it every single day. Yeah. Then you see these reserve, like for us, you see
1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, like Waterboy.
Most of them aren't in shape. They're all different ages, all different backgrounds, and they're just fucked. Like everything is wrong. The way they set up their gear is wrong. The way that so you start knitting. You're like, fucking reservists. The reservists are here. Get ready. So from your point of view, now you're one of them trying to deal with these guys. Was there any kickback, or did you guys see any of that?
Yeah, they hated us at first. Like they were just total pomp. They're younger, active duty, cannon cockers. Like these are young dudes, and then we got guys.
Salty.
Yeah, and then we got guys who are like joined in the 80s and they're there, but these guys are rock stars.
Yeah.
Because they know how to run convoys. These guys are plumbers, welders, electricians. So like our second deployment, we rolled into our base. Me and my buddy Duclaw, the company was leaving. We had trailers. So it was 2-man rooms, 3 per trailer. And we bought a satellite off of this other company that was leaving. Like $300, we bought the satellite dish.
Really?
So then we had a civilian come, and then he pointed it, and me and Duclaw, we had he did all the tech stuff. We ran Cat 6 cables to every trailer. We're like, hey, $40 a month for internet.
You guys are slinging internet in Iraq?
Yeah.
That is genius.
So then so we had a net zero account, and then
this only happens because of the reservists.
Yeah.
Because you guys had so many different people.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why we don't like the reservists.
Yeah.
You guys can outsmart us. Okay.
So instead of going and waiting in line at the AT&T trailer to call home every once a week or whatever,
you guys had internet?
We had internet. So we had this station. We ran all the Cat 6 cables to different trailers.
Okay.
And then like end of the month, we'd unplug it, and then dudes would be like, "Doof, doof, doof. Hey, no internet." Like $40, homie. $40, plug it back in.
That is genius.
So we had a net zero number. Duclaw was from Rhode Island, so we set up a 401 number.
Okay.
So like my family would call, his wife would call. I think we even set up like an answering machine. So people would call us, and we'd have the computer headset. We'd call home. But then like the home readiness, like our families would go to the meetings, and they'd be like, yeah, I haven't talked to my husband in 2 weeks. And here they are calling us like every night.
Damn, that's
So
a
fun.
luxury.
Yeah.
That is a luxury.
Don't work harder, work smarter.
100%.
So we do that. And then we do on-gun truck missions, go meet up with the Bragg guys. They hate us. And then all of a sudden we go on a mission with them, and they're like, oh, these guys know how to do missions, because we did missions in 2003. We're already doing missions. The only thing we lacked was maybe some of the comm stuff and a little more. They were starting to do more of like I would call it like a felony motor vehicle stop, kind of like if we came into that. They're doing drills like that on base.
Because things have changed from your first deployment to now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, we even brought our steel, like from my dad's company. We brought these plates of steel, and we brought them because in 2003 we didn't have armor. And then we hear about these IEDs, so we put them in our Connex, shipped them over with our gear, and then I started through bolting them through our turrets, because we had hillbilly armor for the turrets.
Yeah.
And then so we just adapted and kind of made it work.
It's good to hear that the Army, even the reserve, have to do this, because I feel like this is just Marine shit. So it makes me feel good knowing that you guys aren't 100% spoiled on everything. Because as a Marine, we always look at the Army like spoiled asses. They get all the best gear. They don't even know how to use it. Yeah. We use it better than them. And look at this brand new hunt. They got a whole fleet, and we're over here piecing things together. So it's nice to hear that you guys actually went through some struggles before the GWAT money kicked in, and then you guys got everything.
Yeah, so we started getting our Humvees from like Bosnia, I think, because they were sitting there for years.
Yeah.
They were pretty decent Humvees. And then we had LMTVs, so same thing, we're in a 5-ton truck.
Yep.
And I remember one time the road was like Swiss cheese, whatever road it was, Anbar province, like desert. And I'm in the 50 cal, and there was a berm on the side of the road. So instead of driving on the road with all the potholes and IEDs, we drove off the road between the berm, maybe 100 yards off the road.
Okay.
Then there was a berm. So drivers and TC couldn't see over the berm, but I could, being in the turret, because the LMTV are pretty high, similar to a 7-ton. And I look over, and I see this, looks like a grave, like dug in the ground. And then I keep going, like undug grave. I'm like, oh, it's kind of weird. Then we keep driving, and I see what I think is a 155 round, like out.
Okay.
Call it in, and we had a staff sergeant running the convoy. And at that time, IEDs were all day, every day.
Okay.
So they said, all right, you're going to have to wait anywhere from 6 to 13 hours for EOD to come.
Facts.
Like, okay.
If you're
and then they're
lucky.
like, hey, Sergeant Age, can you shoot it? I'm like, I had a 50 cal. I was like, excuse me. Like, yeah. So I told Duclaw, I'm like, dude, drive away from it a little bit.
Let's back up.
Let's back up.
Just in case.
So like whole convoy is kind of off to the side, and I'm in the 50 cal, and it's a butterfly handle with the trigger, and And I'm in the turret, you know, you're standing like this, and then all of a sudden I'm like getting low, getting on the iron sights, and I just do like, you know, the one finger. I'm like, and it shakes the whole truck.
Yep.
Put a couple rounds, couple more rounds, all of a sudden it spins. I'm like, all right, I hit it. I'm like, let me hit it again. Spins, hit it.
Nothing.
I'm like, nothing. I'm like, all right. So then we, like idiots, we all drive up to it. Like,
Let's go check it out.
let's go check it out, dude. Like, we just shot a bomb.
Dudes in the desert.
Yeah, so then we go in, and I do one of these. I'm like, yeah, I'm going in the cab for this one.
Yeah.
And one of the other active duty dudes had the 60 in a Humvee. And he's, I mean, we are 20 yards from this thing.
Oh, God.
And then he just, boom, thing goes off.
No.
Yeah, so we're like, all right, we don't have to call EOD. Let's get out of here.
It went off. It detonated?
Yeah.
Oh, my. You guys.
Like.
Asking for that one.
Yeah. And we're like, all right, let's get out of here.
You didn't have any Mark 19s on your.
At that time, no, because right after that, they flew us, a small crew, to Anaconda, where we just were.
Yep.
And we went to ASV training. So the ASVs were tanks with 4 wheels.
Yeah, badass trucks.
Awesome. So they had the 40 mic on the left with all the rounds in the turret, 50 cal on the right, and then a big night vision optic. And I'd sit in this little seat in this cage, and it'd be hydraulics left and right. And then elevation was like a hand crank. And I'd have like that fighter pilot like flip up the switch and hit the trigger.
The little red flip. Yeah.
And that was awesome. And I felt like a king in that thing. It was air conditioning was cranking. We had our MP3 players hooked up to the comms so we could listen to music on the convoy. And yeah, that was cool. We just got lucky a lot. Like we were vigilant. So a lot of the times I was either a front gunner or a rear gunner, and we were always in the turrets, guns up. We would either pass, like there was a lot of convoys doing missions because military would have the roads between certain times.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'd be the first ones out, which we'd never wanted to do. We'd be like, yeah, let the Marines go first.
They'll find all the IDs.
And then, so we're doing missions, and then we get a breakdown. And then a convoy behind us passes us, and then they get hit. Or we're waiting, and like we're in the turrets, and I'm like, all right, checking with binos, checking scopes and everything at a distance, the village. And then we leave, and the convoy behind us gets hit because they're like guns flying in the wind, sitting in the truck like idiots. So I think being vigilant helps.
For sure. Well, they're watching too. That's what a lot of guys, because we always had giant signs, complacency kills. Like it's out of every base you'd roll out. I'm sure you saw them.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, then the enemy's watching everything.
Yeah.
Even though we can't see anybody, it proves like these little kids are just popping out of nowhere. So they can tell the difference of units who are on it or the guys where there's nobody in a turret going by, guns are pointed to the sky, no rear security, and they start noting that, and they're like, they make a call ahead, and I mean, they're waiting. So
so we got, for the amount of missions we did, we got very lucky. A lot of pop shots. One of the missions I was on, I was actually on the sat phone, well, not sat phone, but on the computer, calling my buddy Eric, who was in the Marines. He was in Fallujah, and I was trying to get up to like meet him. Because like he's not having a good time. Yeah. And it ended up, I go to my company commander. I'm like, hey, could I go to Fallujah for R&R? He's like, no, you cannot go to Fallujah.
Fallujah's popping at this point.
Yeah,
like,
that
this
was
later on Green Zone Fallujah.
Yeah, so they canceled my leave to go home because at that time guys were going home for like 10 days or something and then coming home. Which guys were changed. When they would go home, they would come back. They were not the same soldier. Like
how good or bad?
Bad.
Like didn't want to.
Like once they get that taste of how life is, like they're just like, what am I doing? Like you just see it in their face.
For sure.
Like you get that deployment face of like smile with your buddies, and you're all like, everyone's got a fake ass smile.
Yeah.
Because you're in Iraq or Afghanistan. Like nobody cares.
Yeah.
And then dudes that go home, it just like rewires their brain to be like, what are we doing?
For sure. Because then you're seeing the news probably side of things.
Yeah.
you get a taste of freedom. See, we don't get this option in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
You're just there on a deployment.
And
you're
that's
always,
better.
Okay, okay, this is an interesting conversation because we look at it like, damn, they get to go home. But then at the same time, hearing this, like, you get that little taste of freedom.
It changes you. And then you're like, I don't want to do, not guys not wanting to do missions, but mentally they don't want to do missions, which is dangerous.
100%.
So they sent me, they canceled the headquarters knew that like our times were getting messed up. So they put their time in. So I kind of got screwed.
Okay.
Because I wasn't in headquarters and knew. So they sent me to Qatar instead for like 3 days.
Okay.
So me and this other staff sergeant went down, and you get like a ticket a day for a beer. There's a Chili's with a pool.
I feel that's just enough, though.
It's perfect.
That's
what it needs to be.
I agree with that. That's how it should be.
You need to decompress somewhere.
But stay in theater.
Stay in theater. Still in the mindset. And then there was sandstorms, so we had to stay. We stayed like 5 days or something, which was like, all right, cool. But then you're like, our boys are going on missions. Like, I should be on missions. So the mission that I would have been on, we used to have these things, we call them a rat truck. So you'd be up like a mile ahead in the truck, and then the rest of the convoy would be behind you. And the rat truck was, if there was a bomb, like you'd be the first to get it.
And you're a mile out. Huh?
Or you would spot an IED, call it in, and everyone else would be back a safe distance. Because at that time they were using the shape charges.
Okay.
So they were putting the rhinos on the front of the Humvees in the ammo box. Did you see those?
Yeah.
So basically it was like a heat signature in the ammo box, and then they have a chain dragging, and then like a piece of something
Steel
kind of flopping in the wind.
Okay.
So that way when trucks would go by, like an infrared signal or whatever, the shape charge would go into the door. There'd be a copper charge, and it would blast through everything and catch a vehicle on fire.
Pretty much it would be that plate of copper would turn to a cone and pierce any steel, correct? Is that what, and it would just melt. I remember seeing some of the doors of Humvees that got hit with that, and you're I mean, dude, you're like knocking on that steel door, but it looks like soft butter.
Yeah.
And you shot like a slug into it, and it just melted those doors. I remember seeing chunks where you can see it just literally, the only way I would describe it is hot butter with like shooting a pellet into it, and it would just mold and melt everything. It was scary looking at some of that stuff.
Yeah, and the trucks coming, like you see the trucks coming in on the base, and you're just doing convoys. You're like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
So the point of that would to be the rhino, the nose out front, would send it in front of the vehicle instead of, and then they started turning it. It's like, whatever, everyone's adapting.
Things were interesting. Your second one. Yeah. That's
so the guys, the mission I probably would have been on, the field 377 guys were the front truck outside of Fallujah. 2 155 rounds with fuel as accelerant. The front truck gets hit with an LMTV. And the cab is up armored, and then it's a cargo truck. So there's so much weight on the front. The cab blows off of the truck. Nobody gets hurt. I think one dude, the gunner, broke his pinky.
Really?
And then everyone gets sent to Fallujah for like a day or two because QRF
You were
came.
trying to go there to see.
And I was like, dude, I could have been to Fallujah, homie.
So you missed your buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny.
I mean, even if I, would have seen him. It was crazy on another base on Cop North, I think it was, on the Syrian border. This was the smallest base that we were at.
Yeah.
It was under the Marines. So we were there for like 30 days, like literally bringing water every day, water and food, supplies. And I go to the weightlifting tent, see these two dudes. They're like, hey, I'm from the Stryker Brigade in Alaska. And in the back of my head, one of my buddies, Captain Bulio, went to the Stryker Brigade. I used to work with him at the Palladium, a nightclub in Worcester.
Really?
He was a few years older because I used to use his military ID to get into bars. It was like a black and white picture of a white dude with a crew cut.
Yeah,
like, everyone looks the same. And I told those guys, I go, you guys know Captain Bulio? He goes, oh yeah, he's the night ops guy. He's in the tent next door. I'm like, no kidding.
Really?
Yeah. So we hung out for like 3 weeks every night, smoking dried out Cubans.
You're in Iraq and you got to see a guy you used to work with and use his ID to buy beer.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Like, dude, small world.
Extremely small world. Okay, so you do your time overseas. You get back. You get out.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you back before you joined the police force?
So it was probably a couple months, and then December. So I got back in the summer.
Okay.
Worked for my dad for a little bit to save up, because it's always, you never, it's like the military. To be a cop, they're like, hey, you're going to take the test. All right, now you're going to take the health test. You're going to take the physical test. So you're never locked in. Like, it's always, you could always, you know what I mean?
So you don't get accepted to academy and you're doing everything through that period.
And it's still like in my mind, I'm like, it's, unless you have orders or you're day 1, day 0, whatever, like
you're not in yet.
you're not in yet.
Okay.
So it was a waiting process. All right, I'm in. We had a small academy of 14 guys and girls, because usually Worcester police have their own academy, own academy staff, everything, driving, shooting, instruction. That's all through Worcester. And it's a 6-month academy.
That's an eternity, I feel like.
It is.
Okay.
It's
how many weeks is 6 months? 'Cause I think here ours is 18 weeks for the academy here. For Meridian.
So we exceed the state minimum for hours for like domestic, for shooting, for driving training, for all that stuff.
So they're putting out a better quality police officer.
Yeah.
If you're putting in more hours than the state required.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and a lot of the things you see, like some of the escalation of force stuff, I know I'm jumping ahead, but some of that stuff that happens is cops who are less trained.
For sure.
So if you instill confidence in the academy with hands-on stuff, then they're not going to, like, if someone hurries up to get to their taser and they lose that, bad guy has a taser, then could that be lethal force with you incapacitated?
I'd say so.
Maybe. So, or a baton to taser to gun or whatever. Like, it's all these tools they keep giving us. Now there's this new stupid thing called the boa wrap, a bowler wrap or whatever.
Where they shoot it at you.
Shoot it and it like goes around like David and Goliath. I'm like, so now it's just another tool for somebody who's not confident in their ability to rely on. And if it doesn't work, then it's up here. You know, you keep stepping up that escalation.
I'm not throwing shade on cops. Just going to state that before I open my mouth. I feel the majority of the incidences that we see on social, granted, 90% of the time we're not getting the whole video.
Yeah.
I could take that into consideration. But when a physical altercation pops off, I want to say 75% or more do not legitimately know how to handle a physical altercation. And this goes for men and women, because I have a very strong opinion about women being street cops.
Yeah.
Most men don't know how to fight.
Yeah, and that's the thing of, like, they show us this stuff that doesn't really apply in the academy like we do.
Like what? What's not applying in the academy that you...
They showed... I've seen some people use it, like an armbar takedown. It's like you come up from behind at a 45-degree angle. That's how you start doing it. And I've seen other guys do it where you grab somebody and...
Yeah. There's ways of doing it.
There's ways of doing it, but every cop should be doing jiu-jitsu, not sport jiu-jitsu. It should be
not a competitive jiu-jitsu.
There's been so many times that I have put myself on top of a subject and made them incapable of getting away.
Yes.
Just by being in a position.
Yes.
So I went to 05, actually, sorry, before my second deployment, I ended up going to combatives instructor school with the Army. 5-day training, jiu-jitsu, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I was dabbling in jiu-jitsu a little bit, and I'm still like a shitty spazzy white belt. Like I do it because I know I need to do it. It's great for mental health. It's great to, it's great to learn, show my kids. And right when I got back from that training, literally I was driving the paddy wagon. Dude gets out. He slipped his cuffs to the front. There was an OUI case. Like,
what's OUI?
Operating under the influence.
Okay, sorry.
So he came back from the hospital. He slipped his cuffs, and I opened the door, and we had a sally port, like a garage door that was open. It's supposed to be closed every time, but you know, sometimes you just don't follow the policy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, it's just a dude who's gonna get out, and usually we escort him in. He just runs towards like
So you open the door and he
towards
just
Belmont Street,
okay.
and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon. I just start running. I'm in my uniform, and I'm like, I gotta wait to tackle him because I don't want to rip my $90 pants.
Okay.
So we get to the grass section right before the sidewalk, and people are like at the stoplight. It's super busy right at the police station. Tackle him, get inside control, start doing a couple knees into his ribs, and just lay there. And I just yell for the other guy. I'm like, hey, Lee. And I just waited. And the dude had nothing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's so many proven tactics.
yeah.
How to just at the same time, it's really hard to fight somebody without hurting somebody. Like that is when you're just trying to detain somebody and they're
Somebody who doesn't want to be detained. And that's the majority of cases in police work is I've gone hands-on a lot of times.
okay.
And there has been very few times where the dude wants to throw fists.
Really?
A lot of the times it's they just want to get away and they're actively resistant, which means that limits your use of force options as well.
Okay.
So, you know, like when I see dudes tase people when they're running away and then they do the NMI, their body stiffens up. And they,
Yeah.
like in our state, that's a no-go because you're actively resistant.
So okay.
So the level
Okay.
of force,
Okay.
I mean, every state could be different, but like we don't.
But I feel you guys are pretty liberal when it comes to policing because of who's running your guys' state. So you agree that if somebody's running, you shouldn't be able to tase them?
I think if somebody's combative, you could tase them
Okay.
or fists up. Like
For
they don't
sure.
have to throw a fit.
Sure.
You don't have to
But
wait to
if
get
you had
punched.
somebody detained, I'm just throwing a scenario.
Yeah,
You have somebody, you got him against a car, you're about to search him, that dude dips and runs.
yeah.
You don't feel a cop has the right to tase at that point?
I don't think I wouldn't because I like to go hands on faster than later. So to get my taser out and to have loose clothes and them moving, that's a harder target to hit. And you're like, how many times do you run and shoot your taser?
Never.
Never. How many times do you run and shoot? Not a lot unless you're a competitive shooter.
Probably
You
never.
run and stop and shoot or slow down and shoot.
Yeah.
So like you have that one window of squeezing that trigger on the taser and X amount of feet, however much line you have on that taser.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's already got, like, my instinct from, you know, playing football to tackle somebody, to being in the military, to going
Yeah.
through training is he moves, I move, right? Like I'm going to hurry up and try and sprint and get after him and get him at a position of disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I could then, guys are too quick to hurry up to the cuffs because look at any YouTube video or Instagram video of a cop fighting somebody with handcuffs in their hand. You're at a disadvantage with handcuffs. So what people need to do is get them at a disadvantage. If they're still fighting, there's no need to hurry up to your cuffs because you're still at a disadvantage when you're taking one arm off.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have pinky cuff, they always train pinky cuff first because you could still kind of control and do a compliance.
What do you mean pinky cuff? What is
So
that?
like if I have my cuffs like this and the cuffs are on the bottom and top, a lot of guys go with this because it's easy, right?
Oh, so you could punch on a wrist and
punch on the pinky cuff first. So this one is loose. So you have one wrist here.
okay.
And then you can kind of use that as compliance. But if somebody's fighting you, it's hard.
Yeah. The last thing
Unless
I
you have
want
a
is
couple
to
other
tie up
guys.
my
Like
hand.
Worcester's pretty good about having, if you go to a call for service, you're going by yourself.
Yep.
If you're going to a guy with a machete, guy with a gun, domestic, a fight, whatever, 10 guys are going.
Okay.
Like that's, you know.
Back to the tasing thing. I see so many of these videos. Granted, we don't know the whole context most of the time. I feel as a cop, if I was a cop, I would be tasing every son of a bitch. Just, especially the ones that are just you have that ability.
Yeah.
They start pushing. You see these cops are going back and forth. And
Yeah.
the second somebody puts a hand on me, especially if I have to be tased to carry that thing, I am burning everybody.
Which is ridiculous too, because you don't have to be shot to carry your gun with your vest on. So I think that's just like a hazing thing. Like, oh, you got to get, I get the spraying thing. You got to know how to get sprayed. Once I get on the SWAT team was the first guys to get tasers. And I told my DT guy, I go, am I getting tased? And he was like, I'm not tasing you, bro. I don't know what's going to come out because I have plates in my head.
Oh.
So he's like, dude, I'm not tasing you.
Did you not have to get tased?
Yeah, I didn't get tased.
You mother. I would have played that too.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I'm like, I got this shit. Yeah. It's gonna might fry me 100%. Getting tased sucks. I've rode the lightning.
Oh yeah,
it was horrible. A cop could pull a gun on me, and I'd be like, like, you pull a taser on me. Yeah. Oh my god.
Some guys that had that happen, they see the taser and they're like, nope.
100%.
But I see a lot of cops in scenarios. So like once getting on the SWAT team, it was we would go to all the call, the guy with the gun, guy with the knife, fight call, whatever, with a weapon, and we would go, and then we'd be outside of a building, and I kind of learned it from senior guys too. If you were a patrolman, there was another patrolman, then another SWAT guy. I'd be like, all right, you have the shield. You go lethal, I'll go lethal, you go less lethal, and you go apprehension. So like you talk it through the guys at first, like you tell the guys, even if it's your call. So for example, if there's a call on, like if I get dispatched to a call and you come and you're my backup and she come and she's my backup, like it's my call.
Yeah.
So I could be like, the cop should say, hey, if this is a knife call, I'll go lethal, you go less lethal, you go apprehension. And then sometimes you see on these videos, everyone's got their taser out for a guy with a knife, and you're like, dude, that's a lethal call all day.
Yep.
Because the taser just, when it works, it's great.
When it
doesn't work,
but it ain't guaranteed.
They can't be behind the wheel. They can't be around certain gases. They can't be around like a gas station or somewhere high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if someone's running, like you're not supposed to catch somebody when you tase them, but if somebody's running and they get NMI and they hit their head really friggin' hard.
Oh, for sure.
With the,
I mean, I get it. At the same time, though, if I'm getting tased, I'm tasing everybody. Yeah. I'm one of those. I would be one of those cops where but I mean, you see some of them and then they hit their heads off the concrete or the asphalt, or they fall flat on their face. It's like, bro, did you just knock this dude's teeth out? I get it. I see it, but I would 100% be one of those cops.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a cop. So, you're near Boston. You did 18 years. You were there for some riots.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it?
So, actually, you want to go to 2012 first?
Let's do whatever you want, buddy.
So, 2012, I was on patrol, and I had a pain in my groin, and I thought it was a hernia.
Okay.
Because back in 2003, when I was in that winter tent full of soldiers, doing missions every day, carrying the saw gun, jumping in and out of the Humvee, and like stopping traffic, and woke up in the middle of the night, felt a tear in my, apparently it was my intestine, dropped to my groin, had an ingroinal hernia.
Okay.
Excruciating pain. I kept my mouth shut in the tent. Pain went away. I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Cool, healed.
Yeah, good to go. Let's do another 10 months in country.
So dumb. Men are so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward to 2012, I was working out a lot. Thought I had a hernia. Go to the doctors. They do an ultrasound on my testicle because that's where the pain was. And they said, oh, well, looks like you have a growth. Like, by growth, do you mean tumor? Because that's all I'm like, growth, tumor, like what?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, it's probably testicular cancer. You're going to have to, this was a Friday.
Really?
Just come back next week. We'll do surgery, outpatient.
Really?
And I'm sitting there, like, hit a brick wall. I'm like, what? Like, dude, you got cancer right now. Like, it came for a hernia or something.
So you go in for potential hernia, and now you're leaving knowing that you have testicular. I can't even say the word right now.
Testicular cancer.
Testicular. I don't know why I can't say it. So you go in thinking that you're having a hernia, and then you get told you have Testicular cancer.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't say that word right now. So that's a shock to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you processing this? Because I feel obviously cancer is a very scary word.
Yeah. So testicular cancer, doing some research after, it's prominent between 16 and 30 years old for men.
Really?
Yeah. So,
I did not know those ages.
yep. I was 29 at the time, which I was like, almost made it.
Yeah.
I called my parents, and then we met for lunch. My dad's like, call your mom, and we met up and went through, like, hey, it's going to be an outpatient surgery. And I asked the doctor, I said, so you're going to take the testicle out, take the tumor off, and then put it back in? He said, no, we take the whole thing. So here I am like, all right, I'm going to have one. I go, can I have a fake one put in? He goes, yeah, you can have a fake one. I'm like, all right, cool. So that, that settles one hurdle.
Does it feel weird?
Not really.
No, does it? I mean, when you're...
I mean, it's like, it's a thing, like you feel the skin, but then like the ball, like you put freaking vice grips on it, it's not going to hurt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No shit, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to ask. I don't know. I don't know anybody with fake nuts. So
Yeah. It was a fun one time we're leaving roll call and my buddy, we're in the elevator. He's like, dude, it was after it happened. He's like, dude, what's it feel like? I'm like, yeah, you just like touch it. He like touches it and the elevator door opens. Or like, don't worry about it. It's not, it's not gay if it's a fake
I wasn't
nut.
going to ask if it became a thing, but I knew it. I knew it.
Of course. A bunch of cops or military guys in a room. Like,
100% someone's poking it.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
it wasn't weird that I asked.
Yeah.
If you've been in the military.
yeah, it's not gay in Iraq.
No. No.
So so I have outpatient surgery,
Okay.
heal up. It wasn't crazy painful. A couple days at home. Then a few months went by. I had some more scans. Then they found some swollen lymph nodes. You have lymph nodes all over your body.
Mhm.
I had lymph nodes like towards the back, I guess, like kidney area. Those were swollen enough where they could have enlarged to be a teratoma, which a
Okay.
teratoma is, I guess it's like a tumor, but it's not cancerous. It's a growth of hair, teeth, nails, like absolutely disgusting. And that growth could be, it could stay 3 mil or whatever size it was, or it could grow to be the size of a friggin' football.
I've seen these in, like, the wife watches crazy medical shit.
Unreal. Terrifying.
Yeah. They're pulling tumors that have grown teeth in them and
Yeah.
hair, and it looks like some Hollywood creature.
Yeah.
That's how I'd explain it. So this is what they're telling you it can grow into, or is it already
It said
started?
it could be growing into it.
Okay.
I knew somebody who had he had testicular cancer, then he opted to not have the surgery, and he was fine. But for me, I was like, dude, get this thing out of me.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
Yep.
So they cut me open from waistline to the sternum. They take all your guts, put them on your chest. It's like a human canoe. Then they take the lymph nodes out
Really?
and put everything back in.
This is a very invasive surgery.
Yeah, that was a tough recovery. Super bloated because once your intestines hit air, they like bloat, I guess, the gases.
Really?
So there's a picture of me where I look like pregnant almost in a hospital bed. I was just hooked up to morphine where just every, 5 minutes or 10 minutes I could hit that button and just like, no, I was in the hospital for a week after that. And it was a 6-month recovery.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, they're
So
cutting
it was
through
like,
everything.
oh yeah. So then 6 months, strict diet, no more than 6 grams of fat a day, 5 grams of fat a day. Like I'd look at the menu and have anxiety. Like, what can I eat? I'm like, all right, can you cook this and like not fry it, no butter, like crazy.
Yeah. Your whole life changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I was cancer free. 6 months later, SWAT tryouts are going on, which is a 2-day tryout. They
Mhm.
do it every like 3 years or so, depending on numbers. Pushing the sled, doing sprints. I cough up some blood. I'm like, all right, it's only a little bit of blood.
Okay.
Day 2, cough up some more blood.
Are you feeling anything like tightness, or is it
No.
just coughing up blood?
Just coughing up blood. I was working out a lot. No, I also want to say like mildly sick. This was March in New England. Still like cold out.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best weather. feel kind of crappy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you just, nobody wants to know they're sick, right? So you're like, oh, it's winter. I feel like crap. Oh, I'm coughing up blood. Like, whatever.
No
It's
big
just
deal.
a little bit of blood.
Yeah.
5 days go by. I go to St. Vincent's Hospital in Worcester. I do scans. They said you have 6 tumors in your chest and lungs.
Damn,
I had
dude.
1 pushing on my jugular, 1 on my stomach, the rest on my lungs.
And you're really not feeling anything.
I was losing weight, but I was also working out. But I was like, I know everyone, if you've grown up like doing athletic stuff or working out, you know your body.
Mm-hmm.
I was losing more weight than I would have been if I was lifting weights and running. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't eating super clean. I was eating normal, but working out a lot. So for me, losing weight for eating normal isn't normal.
Yeah.
So here's a hint, like always know you're normal. Like know when you feel good,
For sure.
right? Because when you don't feel good, you just put a check and be like, all right, let's keep an eye on this.
So now you're in the hospital and they have found you just riddled with cancer.
And I didn't know until my mother told me recently from when I was writing the book. She said they told my parents, this is beyond us. Like, you need to go to Boston.
Okay.
So Boston, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Mass General, they're like one of the best in the country, if not the world, for cancer research and treatment. So I go to Boston. I meet my oncologist, Dr. Sweeney, who was amazing, this Australian dude. He looks at my scans and he said, let's let the healing begin. So I went on a second opinion. So if you ever go to the doctors and you want an out-of-network visit, it's technically not covered. So you have to go to your primary care, say, I want an out-of-network visit to go to Boston. Your primary care puts in a referral. Then you're cleared, like, for free to go to that specialist.
Okay.
I went to Boston. He said, this is stage 4 cancer, and you're not leaving.
Damn.
He said it would have been considered stage 4, but because the cancer came back, he's like, we're starting chemo tomorrow.
Really? That quick? Everything's moving.
Yeah. So stayed in the hospital that night, which I didn't plan on. Bought some like Mass General sweatpants. You know, like parents go home, gets a bag of stuff, comes back. I was hooked up to chemo 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 5 months.
What does chemo feel like?
I thought it was going to feel something.
Okay.
So the first time I had 2 IVs, and they had to change them every 4 days, and I was there for 5, so I'd have to get restuck, which after a while, my veins started to get flat.
Oh, for sure.
So the first time I had chemo, I had a black mark because they like missed the vein a little bit, and I felt the pain, and I'm like, oh, it's chemo. It's supposed to hurt. It's like toxic hazmat stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's not supposed to do that. So I had a mark for like almost a year on my forearm.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a pretty intense chemical.
Yeah. So I had 3 chemos. I had cisplatin, bleomycin, and another one. So it was 3 chemos, and then another like 5 bags of like potassium, anti-nausea stuff, like a steroid, all this.
Just makes you deathly.
All this stuff. Yeah. I was
sick.
like 230 pounds towards the end of it.
Really?
So I'd go in Wednesday. I'd get chemo, 8 hours. Then I'd have to stay in the hotel, the hospital, and then I'd get it again. And every day they would move it back a couple hours. So Sunday I'd be able to leave at like noontime. Then I would go home. Monday I'd feel like the chemo would make me feel like a bad hangover.
Okay.
Like a real bad hangover.
So you're not doing anything Monday.
Monday is just in bed, watch movies, and I was hungry too. I was never nauseous. I'd have a metallic taste in my mouth.
Okay.
Hated it. The smell of like Purell, like the hand sanitizer, like makes me sick.
And that's coming out of you?
That smell is from like the hospital room.
Okay.
Like that. I think that's what it's from.
Do you ever have like this toxic, because you're saying you have a metallic taste.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever smell yourself?
Yeah,
I
because
know this might sound an ignorant question, but
no, like there is a smell to it, and I don't want to scare people because my mother had breast cancer twice. Now she has CLL, chronic lymphatic leukemia.
Sorry to hear that.
And I remember she told me one day, it was me, my dad, and my mother going to the elevator, and we hit it to go down to the to get some food. And she goes, "Well, you're gonna start to feel sick." And I was so pissed. I was like, "Mom," I'm like, "if you tell me I'm gonna feel sick, then I'm gonna feel sick." I go, "If you tell me I'm gonna feel sick in this elevator, then I'm gonna and I mean, I felt all, it was like, that's the stuff, life. It's all the other stuff. So I felt bad, like being a dick to my mom, but sorry, Trish. But for me, like her chemo was when we were in like middle school.
Okay.
So like her chemo was different. Like chemo when it started, everyone was throwing up. So like, that's what people think too, is some stuff. Everyone's cancer is different. Everyone's treatment is different. The way your body reacts to chemos are different.
For sure.
So yeah, I didn't feel great. I never got sick. I got bloated because I think all the water weight, 230 pounds. I lost my hair. I was down to, at one point I was down to like 7 eyebrows.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My hair was like, I don't have much hair anyways, but my buddy who went through the same thing with chemo, he said, don't cut it too short, because if you're like sleeping on a pillow or laying down, the hair follicles die. So they kind of separate. And then when you're like laying down, it hurts because your hair is like poking. Okay. So I kept it a little longer. And then one day I was golfing with my dad, and I took my hat off and wiped my head, and I just looked down and see hair in my hands.
Is that a surreal moment?
Yeah.
Because I know it's a huge deal for women, but I mean, as a man, even though we're all balding, especially if you're military law enforcement, but still, I mean, to be able to wipe it is. And the reason I ask this question is because I feel having cancer, you're trying to not focus on it, and you're just trying to live your life and continue with life. But then all of a sudden you wipe your head and you got a handful of hair. Does it like sink in and hit all over again?
Yeah. For me, it's more like, fuck, here we go. But yeah, it made me think of all the women that have to do it. Like, I don't care about my hair and the scars. Like I'm just a dude. Scars are cool, right? Like, I didn't lose a leg. I'm not wearing my disease, really. You know what I mean? Like, I would walk in to get chemo for 5 days, and the nurses are like, "Where's the patient?" I'm like, "Right here." They're like, "You look great." I'm like, "Well, I feel like shit, but thank you." But it was never like women that have to go through chemo, their hair falls out. They got to wear wigs or not have hair, because wigs, I know from my mother, like, when it's 90 degrees, you think someone wants to put
a wig on?
No. Like, not really. Or walk around completely bald. Like, people are weird when you get cancer. Like, you think, I don't know. It's,
what do you mean by that? How?
I think the reactions that people get when you're sick, either people think that it's like, not think it's contagious, but people that you wouldn't think get a little weirded out. Like, I was around some people that were close and then like never came to the hospital. Yeah. And I'm like, that's fine. I had a lot of people come visit me in the hospital, but a few people, and I'm like, I get it. I don't like going to hospitals, but I think some people act differently. And I think people that are listening to this that have had cancer and experienced that, it's weird. People's reactions to things
themselves a little bit.
Yeah. Either because it could be because they're scared of it. It could be because they don't want to get you sick. A lot of reasons. It's a big, I don't know.
There are a lot of, I could see every angle, especially if you think you have a cold, and obviously going through chemo's killing all of your good cells in your body. So you're more prone to coming down with a sickness, which can lead to a lot of other secondaries, which could eventually probably kill somebody. It's going through and to have such a weak immune system at the time. So I get it, but it's got to be tough because you feel super vulnerable, and then you start seeing your circle shrinking. People aren't around as much, so I'm sure that weighs on you as well. So whatever the reason may be.
But I was lucky. I had a good support group. I had guys that worked overnight shift. They'd show up first thing in the morning.
That's good.
Parents would show up after work, or my parents both own their own business. My mother's a hairdresser.
Okay.
Father runs a crane company now, so they'd come in the afternoon, or my mother would come during the day or days off, and a lot of Netflix, a lot of You know, it's funny too, because I remember I'm like, oh, maybe I'll like learn how to play guitar or something. And it's just like, you feel like crap. You're in bed. Sometimes you just want to sleep. You know, you just kind of fall into, and I loved watching movies on deployment because it would escape. I'd get a complete escape. And the same thing now, like, you know, you watch a movie, I'm into it until it's over. Then it's like, all right, back to reality.
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of Netflix came out around then. So I was watching a lot of, you know, Breaking Bad and all that.
Yep.
Sons of Anarchy, and keeping busy. So I'd feel like crap Monday, feel like kind of crap Tuesday, Wednesday I'd like do a workout. And I lived across the street from a lake. I had a boat. I'd like go wakeboarding with my buddies. Tried to eat relatively clean. Like at one point I was no gluten, no dairy, no alcohol. I wasn't drinking during chemo, but it was I talked to a holistic doctor and he said, what happens when you throw alcohol in a fire? I'm like, it explodes. He goes, that's what it does in your body. I'm like, okay. And then gluten, dairy, they cause inflammation, high acidity. I'm like, okay, cool.
So now your whole life is changing. Diet, lifestyle, everything. What were some of the major changes that you had to do once obviously going through the chemo and the treatments?
What's crazy is I didn't have to.
Really?
So I didn't have to, meaning that dietary change was me going to a holistic doctor.
Okay.
Whereas you go to Dana-Farber, to the, like you say, the chow hall, whatever, cafeteria, they got pastries, sugar, pizza, soda. Like they don't.
Isn't that hilarious? I think I've actually talked about
like a hard enough time finding a bottle. Like I like soda water, and it's like maybe one box of water. Everything else is sugary drinks. And
this is at a hospital.
Yeah, and I'm like, Dana-Farber saved my life. Yes, I appreciate them. But like there's a disconnect with diet and cancer. And I think everything you put into you
feeds it. You're feeding your body.
Feeding every day. So I think it's funny, not funny that
it's definitely ironic that you're at a hospital
because they train they study how to radiate, pull something out in surgery, or chemotherapy.
They don't actually care about what's in their kitchens and what they're feeding their patients there, which is hilarious. That just shows you how wrong we are as a society. I mean, even from the hospital food, look at our high schools and elementary schools, what we're feeding kids, and why isn't it just simple, clean food across the board?
And I mean, that's the easy thing. Like it's, you know, you can't charge $100 for like, I mean, maybe you can for organic food, but the hospitals are putting that money elsewhere.
Oh, for sure.
In cancer research and a cure. Cancer research. So, I started cycling because, all right, after the chemo, I did 5 months of that. Then the tumors in my lungs shrunk.
Okay.
So there was scar tissue on my lungs. So I had a surgeon go in, cut my whole back open, like my whole lat. Had to break a rib. What they do is they deflate the lung, and your right lung has 3 lobes. So he took the top portion and bottom portion of the right lung and removed it from tumor residue.
Damn.
And he saved, because I told him, I go, look, I'm an athlete. I'm not a paid athlete. Like I'm a cop. Am I going to be a cop again if you take my lung out? So I think any other hospital would have done the easy thing, taken my lung out. This guy turned a 3-hour surgery into a 6-hour surgery. And I want to say he reconstructed a blood vessel and saved the middle portion of my lung.
Really?
So when he got done, he came into the room. I was out of it and sore, and he told my parents, like, that was fun. Like, that's the dude you want operating on you, who's going to go an extra 3 hours to save your lung because he knows. I mean, I was the youngest guy in his room, maybe. Like, but pre-surgery, I went to Dr. Swanson. I said, hey, what's my 2-mile run time going to be when you take my lung out? He goes, dude, I don't know. He's like, he's a Harvard med guy. He goes, look in my waiting room. Everyone's between 60 and 80 years old with COPD. Like, I'm not treating guys like you. So for me, I'm like, I hope I wake up. 1, I hope I wake up. 2, I hope I wake up like feeling good.
With some lungs left.
Yeah. So he saved that lung.
Good.
That was a tough recovery because they broke the rib. And then 2 weeks later, I went for a follow-up. And after scans, I go home. I get a call from a Boston number. They said, hey, looks like your cancer has spread to your brain.
Damn, dude, you're just getting blow after blow.
Yeah, so I had brain surgery, brain radiation a bunch of times, and then I was back on track for the 10% of the left lung removed from tumor residue. So I have like 3 holes on the left side where they scoped the surgery, took 10% out, removed it. Then they opted to have outpatient chemo treatment. And after that, did some scans, alpha fetoproteins were elevated. So you could do a blood draw. Everyone has, I don't know about every cancer because there's over 200 different types of cancers.
Yeah.
But my cancer, a blood draw, it had 3 different blood draws. Alpha fetoproteins was one of them. And my alpha fetoproteins were elevated every time I had tumors.
Okay.
So my alpha fetoproteins normal level was at like 16 and under. Like if you had a blood draw and said, check my alpha fetoproteins, it should be at like 16, 12, 15, whatever. Some states are different, which is odd.
That's interesting.
Yeah, some would be 12, or, you know, right around the teen.
It's not really
number.
a standard.
Yeah, but those are those like cancer markers.
Okay.
So my alpha fetoproteins were always elevated when I had something wrong with me, which I would rather do a blood draw than do a CT scan or an MRI, because every time you do a CT scan or an MRI, you're inducing some form of radiation.
For sure.
Which is not good.
No. When they're all standing there in their lead vests and suits and
yeah,
you're standing there strapped to a table.
Yep. So I would try to, now they're like, oh, we'll do CT scans. I'm like, nope, I'm good. Unless something is telling you to do that, like raise blood levels or whatever. Yeah. I just don't want to expose myself to radiation. So check my levels again, second brain tumor.
Oh my God.
So with the brain tumors, they cut the skin, cut a hole, pull the skull out, a circle of the skull, remove the tumor that was resting on the brain, put the skull back in, put a screw in a clip. And that's when I was talking about being tased. I'm like, hey, am I going to get tased? And the dude's like, bro, I'm not tasing you. I don't know what's going to come out. So that's stem from that.
Yeah.
So brain surgery, brain radiation, and then I was back to work. And brain surgery there's no muscle there. There's nothing up there. So the recovery was easy. It was 3 days. All this other stuff where they're tearing through muscle tissue, that's a slow recovery.
Well, and I could be wrong, but there's no pain receptors in your brain too, right? I mean.
No idea.
Am I wrong on that? You know everything. Yeah, you do. I want to say you don't have brain or pain receptors in your brain. That's why
Which was funny before that is my left side of my body, my left leg was a little like tingly.
Okay.
And I chalked it up as I've been in bed a lot. I've been, you know what I mean? Like in the hospital a lot.
Something.
After that was pulled out, the tingling went away. So I believe the right side of your brain works the left side of your body, vice versa. So once that happened, it was interesting how that went away.
Interesting. Yeah, very.
So
now you've gone through testicular cancer, 2 lung surgeries, 2 brain surgeries,
2 rounds of chemo, 2 rounds of radiation.
All within what amount of time?
3 years.
Wow.
So 2012 to 2015, I had 10 procedures.
And you're still wanting to be a SWAT officer?
Yeah, that was a goal. That was a driving force.
You go through all of this.
So the day I got chemo was the day they had those SWAT tryouts. And I was getting ready, and they're like, JD, like, wait till next time. I'm like.
Which is 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, probably 3 years. Okay. So it's like, you know.
Now the next round of SWAT trials is coming up. Are you going to go for it?
Yeah, so I went for it that time, and that was right about my 10 years on the job.
Okay.
And I got on, they were doing tryouts for snipers, and it was 2-day tryout. You have to study, and it's it's smoke session for, you do a initial PT test. And if you don't pass that, see you later. And then, you could get kicked out anytime
For sure.
for whatever. So we do shooting stuff. We do some sniper MO driven drills, like put some equipment in the wood line.
Yeah.
And then you have
Gotta
X amount of
find
time
it.
to spot it.
Yep.
So it was cool because the way they did it was very well. Like they'd smoke you, and then it'd be like that kind of thing, like a mental thing.
Yep.
Then they'd smoke you. Then you do a mental. Then you do
Physical,
like
mental, physical.
then you do like a written test.
Okay.
And then you do something else, and then they give you kind of like the selection, kind of carry the ladder and 5 gallons of water and all this other stuff. And so after that, I ended up getting on the SWAT team as a sniper, and so much fun. Like once you get on, so I'm a cop for 10 years. Like I'm good at what I think I'm good at what I do. I enjoy what I do. I take it seriously.
Yeah.
And then you're a new SWAT guy and you're like, I don't know a thing.
You're starting all over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're like, dude, I'm the new guy. I get to show up earlier. I get to work harder. You get to prove yourself, especially with the guys that have been on for a long time.
Are you designated SWAT, or are you still on the road, and then when a SWAT call comes out, you got to go get prepared for it? Because I know departments are different.
Yeah. So at that time, it was kind of cool. At that time, I did the motorcycle school.
Okay.
So I passed that. I was on the bikes for like a month, just riding Harleys around the city. I'm like, dude, this is the chillest job ever. Like, this is awesome. We just like you could drive around. We drive around parks. We drive around like everywhere.
Yeah.
Because a bike could go almost anywhere.
Okay, here's a question for a motorcycle cop.
Yeah.
Why are you all the worst ones? If you ever get pulled over by a bike cop, you're not getting out of a ticket.
Well, those are traffic guys. We're in traffic. So we do, Worcester has a
Okay.
lot of different divisions. Like we'll do operations, which is patrol. We have vice squad. We have gang unit. We have traffic. So traffic guys write the tickets.
Okay.
And then we're more of like the community policing of like go behind City Hall, kick some of the bums out, like go to the parks where kids are trying to play and then there's people shooting up like, hey, beat it, dude. Like,
Okay.
so that kind of thing.
Okay.
And we're on these old Harleys. So they're like, don't drive around all day. So we like drive around for a half hour and we'd have a partner. So we'd be like, all right, yeah, let's go get some coffee. And we'd
Really?
like, drive around a bit and I'd be like, yeah, let's go to this coffee
Let's
place.
go to Dunkin'
Yeah,
Donuts.
let's go to Dunks. Let's go to Miss Worcester. Let's
Yeah.
like all these different diners.
That's a
and
pretty
stuff.
skate-ass job.
Dude, so it was the best. They're like, dude, put on some sunscreen, bring the bottle of water, and
And just
good
cruise.
to go. Yeah. So
You're
then,
getting paid for that.
yeah,
Okay, that's legit.
and it was too chill though. For 10 years on, and I'm like, still want to do cop stuff.
Okay.
Like, you're not really doing cop stuff because you're not an operations guy. You could go to the calls.
You're more of just policing the community.
Yeah.
You're more of a presence.
People
there.
love it. Every time somebody sees a guy on a cop on a bike, they're like, dude, good day to ride. It's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And cops on bikes will ride until they can't ride. Like, it'll be freezing rain. They're still out there.
Uh-huh.
They're out there until their boss says, you get to ride in a cruiser. And then they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Like, would
Yeah.
you rather be on a momotorcycle or
Oh,
be
for
in a
sure.
cruiser humping calls?
For sure.
So I was on that for a month
Okay.
because they don't pick SWAT right away. The SWAT team meets up. They say, all right, like you could score top charts. Like you could be a stud and everything. But if you're not a guy that has good morals, like you're not getting
So you're kind of peered in.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a good system. So a month goes by and then they're like, hey, you made SWAT. And at that time we had emergency operations, which is EOP,
Yeah.
full-time SWAT, which is awesome.
Okay.
So I was on day shift. I stayed on day shift. So it'd be me, best friend AC. He was a team leader, and cruise around, go work out, listen to the radio. Hey, guy with a gun. All right, go to that call.
Really?
Guy with a knife. Go with that call. Barricaded subject. Go
And
to
how
that
often
call.
is that happening?
I mean, we'd go to a couple calls a day. Like
Okay.
we'd assist. They'd be like, "Hey, an alarm call. Let's clear building." Like, all right, let's go do.
Are
some
you guys
training."
full kitted up, or you have
Yeah.
everything with you?
So we'd have Ford Explorers. We'd have a safe in the back. So we'd have shield. We'd have some tools with us, some other guns with us. We'd have our ARs.
Yeah.
And we would go to calls. We would assist with state police. We get a buddy on the state police to be like, "Hey, JD, can you run this?" And they'd be doing their stuff in the city. We'd help out DEA, ATF.
Oh, okay. So this is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So now you're in it. You're
Yeah.
enjoying
I'm
it.
like, dude, this is mint. So I'm doing entry team stuff, being EOP, and I'm doing sniper stuff on the side. I'm like, this is awesome.
So you get to be like a cop from all the different
Yeah.
realms of what it offers.
Yeah.
Okay, so craziest SWAT call that stands out to you the most?
Let's see. Craziest SWAT call. So I'll get into the riots in a minute, but the crazy one was I was home. I usually do like Monday night dinners at my parents' next town over.
Okay.
I think AC called me and he goes, it was kind of like, so sometimes we'll have a full call out where it's a recorded service. Somebody will call barricaded subject with a gun, whatever. It goes out, barricaded subject, meet at the station as soon as possible.
Okay.
So the whole SWAT team goes.
Okay.
Sometimes the SWAT guy is already working, whether they're in operations, doing calls, gang unit, detectives, whatever. Then they'll get on their gear. So we there was a thing we were kind of doing like half-ass call outs where they'd call like 6 guys or 10 guys and be like, hey, come in. AC called me. I fly to the station, get my gear. Negotiators were there. So this was Union Station, the hub for train station and bus station. And there's a restaurant and stuff. And then attached to that is a 6-story parking garage.
Okay.
So I didn't see, because I was driving too fast. AC he's been on the SWAT team forever. So he's just like, dude, I'll get there when I get there. At home, finish feeding the kids, whatever.
Perks.
But he's never late, right?
Okay.
Like I'll be flying, hustling, then all of a sudden he walks in. I'm like, how do you do that? So he was driving down Grafton Street and you could see the top of Union Station, the parking garage. He said this dude was standing on the edge, like ready to jump. He looked like a gargoyle.
Really?
So this guy walked up inside the parking garage and then climbed outside to get on the roof of the parking garage. And the roof was flat. And then it had a little, like maybe a 4-inch lip and then a slanted piece, like a tile or a piece of concrete. And then it was down 6 stories.
Oh, okay.
He was like on that angled piece. It's getting dark. It's dark, windy, cold rain. Like it was in the fall, I think.
So every scenario to make it.
Yeah. So in the middle where we walked up the ladder to get, there's like a manhole and it flipped up towards the guy. And one of our SWAT team guys had the beanbag shotgun that's supposed to incapacitate. And he's like ready, kind of hidden. And the negotiators are talking to the guy, trying to get him to walk away from the edge.
Yeah.
Me, AC, and Bobby I had the shield and a taser, and I'm by the edge but away from him.
Okay.
And
You're
Bobby's
6
behind
stories
me.
high, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then AC's behind me. And the whole time I'm like this is taking a while, and run through scenarios in your head. And I'm like, man, that'd be wild if we're just like hanging over the edge like you see in the movies, like grabbing the guy. I'm like, all right, let's back to reality. Let's figure this out. Got the taser. He's looking at me, and I'm not pointing it at him. I'm like trying to show that I'm not being super vigilant or hyper vigilant. I'm just like, dude, I'm here. Like he had a blade on him.
I mean, and then you're dealing with somebody that's obviously on the verge of jumping. He's got a blade. So you have to play it super cool. You can't come into these scenarios aggressive because you're trying to buddy this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're trying to gain some ground with him, talking to him. He wants to call his mother. So we have these throw phones. Throw a phone. So he walks away from the edge. And the plan was when he gets away from the edge, shoot him with the less than lethal and then apprehend him. He walks, I don't know how many feet, 20 feet, enough away where we're like, it's safe enough where he's away from the edge. Because you don't want to chase somebody off an edge. Dude. He walks the phone, shoot him with the beanbag gun. Boom, boom, boom. I think 5 or 6 shots. He turns and runs to the edge. And this is a busy area. There's like 100 or so people watching.
Oh, it's a scene at this point.
It's a scene. It was on YouTube and somebody pulled it down, and should have kept it. But he runs to the edge. I drop the shield and taser, and I just start running towards him.
Okay.
Right when I get to him, I feel my shoulder. I don't know if it was AC or Bobby moved. The guy went to the edge, and he had I think it was a razor knife. He got to the edge and turned. So when he turned, I was over here. I grabbed like single leg, his left leg. Bobby grabbed his right leg, and he fell over backwards over the edge. And he's fighting us as he's doing it. And I land on my chest, and I'm looking down like 6 stories to the sidewalk.
So this dude is dangling over the edge, and you have his legs?
Yeah.
And you're looking over the edge?
Yeah. And I'm like, we're going over.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I feel AC, like they jumped on us to keep us from falling.
For sure.
Like everybody. It was nuts. And on the YouTube video, you could see the flashlight from the shield, and you could see the guy walk away. And then all of a sudden he runs back, and you hear people screaming like in horror. And then all of a sudden when we grab him, you just see dark shadows, and he's hanging over, and you hear, wow, wow. And then people are cheering and
you have
clapping,
no idea what's going on.
and they're just like, they knew that we caught him.
Okay.
So everyone's like cheering and like,
Ain't over yet.
dude, it was nuts.
So while he's hanging over the edge, is he trying to cut you guys?
I think he dropped the knife at some point
Okay.
because like we didn't get cut, or he was so far over that he like was hanging.
Yeah.
And the guys on the 5th floor saw his like head.
Okay.
He was low, which means we probably had around his knees or shins, or
Yeah.
like it could have been his thigh because the roof was so low, but that was,
How did you guys just pull him back up over the edge?
I honestly don't even remember anything after that. Like I remember grabbing him, having weight, and then I think he like curled up,
Okay.
and guys were like grabbing him and pulled him in. And that rush after that of like, dude, we just did that.
You just dove on a
Yeah.
dude to save his life. Do you genuinely think he would have jumped?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Yeah. Because after he went to the hospital and got assessed that day, 2 days later, he went back to jump. And the security guard recognized him and called the cops before he was able to get up.
You show back up the next day, you're like, nah, I'm good.
I was actually on a detail on Grafton Street, and I heard it over the radio. I'm like, what? Like the guy on Instagram, what?
Good.
No way.
Damn, man, you got lucky. Can you imagine getting pulled over from somebody?
But not only that, like this guy wants to kill himself. Nothing says
you have to stop him.
we have to stop him.
Yeah,
But
that just shows.
but
who
it's an
you are.
inherent nature in mainly men to save a complete stranger. And I just heard a statistic on that of like the amount of guys that die trying to save people.
Do you
I'm like-
remember what that was?
No, it was a lower number,
Yeah.
but guys step in to help.
Well, it's like jumping on a grenade.
Yeah.
You don't know who. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't, but then
Yeah.
I feel like that's. I'm not comparing it to because there are dudes that have lived. You got the Kyle
Yeah.
Carpenters in the world that have jumped on grenades and lived, but it's that in that
Yeah.
snap of a finger reaction time if you're going to do it or not. You're not
Yeah.
thinking like, oh shit, this is my time. It's just it's a natural reaction to be able to act that quick.
So what we did after that, I got a hold of my buddy who's a PJ, former PJ, and he was like, were you guys hard lined in? I'm like, what's that? And I'm familiar with rock climbing. I like climbing. I'm not great with ropes or anything. So basically he showed me and my buddy, he goes, dude, buy 30 feet of 10 mil rope, get a harness, get a few carabiners, get a prusik, like a thinner rope you could use to choke it off to like for your distance.
Okay.
So we went back up to the roof and we, kind of
Ran through scenarios.
ran through scenarios, and we go, we don't like, look, we're not trying to repel. There was days where our SWAT team was repelling and it was like nobody used it.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place. I think guys should know it. I think snipers should know it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should especially learn to be hardlined, meaning you find a bomb-proof like stairway, something that's not going to move, and you tie a rope to it, and then you tie a rope to wherever the edge might be, and then if you have slack in the rope, you use the prusik to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of that slack so you're safe. So I wrote an IDC, Interdepartmental Correspondence, where I said to my bosses from Officer Dage, looking to get, here was a scenario where we saved a guy, we didn't have ropes. Like, could we get 30, 20 feet of rope?
Did they approve
Prusik.
this?
I'm like, dude, it costs nothing.
A couple $100.
Yeah. Not only that, I went out to the outdoor store. I bought all the shit myself.
Yeah.
And I had it in my EOP bag. I'm like,
That's the frustrating part. That's my biggest problem with our police force as a whole. Is they have no problem buying a couch for some captain's office, but here you are dangling off the side of a 6-story building, holding on to a dude that just tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And you write up an op order, or hey, this is my recommendation to get carabiners and harnesses, so if this scenario happens again, we can 100% guarantee we're going to save officers' life if they get pulled over, and then the department denies that.
Yeah.
And you're in it. A couple of full sets would cost you less than $500. You're talking D-rings, some carabiners.
Keep it in the EOP car, so even 2 guys have it, like whatever. So I pulled it out 2 more times while working EOP for like jumpers.
Yeah. Especially on the East Coast. I mean, you saw we don't have the skyscrapers, but
it's not even that high. Even
a couple stories, though.
I went to one call. It was an overnight call, and I'm like looking. I'm like, there was nothing in this apartment. So I'm like, the toilet? And guy's like, that ain't going to work. So I went out into the hallway, started tying off to this big banister and a couple other things, and then I go back in. This dude was 400 pounds on a fire escape, like 3 or 4 floors up. And in my head, I'm like,
how? I
can't let him grab on. The only thing I could do is sneak up on him somehow and pull him in.
Yeah.
Like, if this guy goes, he's going.
Yeah.
And I got set for it. And then as I was going to the window, we ended up like getting him in.
Yeah. But at least you had time.
Another time, a guy was on a bridge where people jump off this bridge, which when I lived on the lake, we would jump off that bridge too.
Okay.
But some people would do it and be like, if somebody decides not to come up, that's another thing. So I remember tying around we had the front bumpers, but they're not really bumpers. They're like for the sirens.
Okay.
It looks like a, whatever, cattle ram.
Like push guard? Yeah,
push guard. So I tied it around that, and then we ended up getting the guy down. But I'm like, all right, well, I've used it. I seeked outside training for my buddy who knew what he was doing. We bought our own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you figure it out.
Yep.
Like, one time, I went to the emergency vehicle operator course for 2 weeks up in New Hampshire. We drove around Loudon, learned how to do all this cool driving stuff. So I was certified instructor to do that.
Yeah.
And when I sit in the cruiser, I like a high visual horizon, like fist to the root. You know what I mean? Like, you're spacing. My knees are almost touching the dash. That way you have more control of the steering wheel. And our SWAT car, like, the seat was broken. Like, the electrical thing. And they're like, yeah, we can't fix it. I'm like, okay. So the seat was like super low. I ended up like finding a broken cinder block behind the dumpster, lift the seat, stick the cinder block under it. And I'm like, welcome to the 21st century. Like, dude. Like,
it is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But they'll find funds for other dumb shit. And then when it comes to training and proper equipment, there's...
the thing around where we are, like, cops get paid well, which is a bonus. So I think that, like, I don't know if it's the money, they want the money to go back to the cops, or they just don't care about equipment. Like, we recently got, like, I think last week, got a Bearcat.
Okay.
And they were offered to us from the post-military stuff, like for $1 and stuff. We can't put it anywhere. We can't do all this. And I mean, we need it. Like, there's been scenarios where we go to the guy shooting up, like, our SWAT vans were plumber vans. Like, one of the SWAT vans I got was empty, and they knew I knew how to weld. They're like, hey, could you weld bench seats in the back? I was like, yeah, I could do that. So I, like, welded up bench seats. I'm like, this is the second largest city in Mass. And
you're doing it on your time?
Yeah. Well, made out like it's, if you don't do it, then you don't have it.
And at the same time, you care.
Yeah.
You enjoy your job. So it's just, okay, let's just get it done. Yeah. But you would like to see.
It's like, why don't we buy, like, I remember they were looking at up armored vans. So they don't look like a Bearcat.
Yeah.
They don't take up that. We're in the city. We got tight streets.
Bearcats are horrible for city environments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which a lot of these departments don't realize. So they do need a smaller armored vehicle. Would probably
and I remember looking at the sheets, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do it. I'm like, all right, makes sense. makes if it makes sense, and they're not going to do it.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah. Oh, so that was the Rooftop one. Another one was I was working during the riots, like post George Floyd riots.
Yeah. How was that?
That was, we were on standby. Like, Worcester's second largest city. We're not as big as Boston by any means. Like, our riots are protesters who want to protest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good on you.
Everybody has that right.
Then there's people who are like the onlookers, who are just like, look, they're, and then you got the Worcesterites who sometimes have a criminal background, and then they see the opportunity to start throwing rocks. And
the agitators.
Yeah.
So if you're breaking down riot scenario, there's 3 categories of people there. You have your protesters.
I mean, and this is me saying it because we've seen, like, we had protests, and they'll march around, and they're not big enough to really cause big issues, like in some of the big cities around the country. And it's like, some people show up, they give some speeches, but then, like, we literally had people. So Clark University is in Maine South, which is a rough area, and it's a lot of college kids, call them Clarkies.
Okay.
And like, right outside of the fence is, I mean, it's an active area. If you want to do cop stuff, like, pretty active.
Yeah.
And sometimes the college kids get mixed up in the mix of being a victim of circumstance in that area.
For sure.
So we were on call all day, all night, and I think we went home at like 1 a.m. They're like, all right, SWAT team, kind of stand down. We have our own riot patrol. And so I remember going home, and one of the police cruisers were being surrounded. And there was a cop in it, like, they're surrounding my cruiser, like, and not sure what to do. And I forget the exact specifics, but we're like, SWAT team, they're like, yeah, you guys are still good. We're like, all right. So I go home, take some melatonin, lay down, eyes closed, call out.
Oh my God.
Then, like, go to the station, get suited up. And then usually we do, like, as a sniper, we'll take different vehicles to the call outs, or entry guys will take the van, but this is like a riot.
Yeah.
So me and AC, we were full kit, gas mask, Kevlar, driving to where the riots were.
Okay.
There was one dude with a Molotov cocktail on top of a building that one of our bosses, like, talked
Really?
down. And then down the street near Clark was, like, our tactical patrol team, our riot squad.
Yep.
And then the instigators shooting fireworks, throwing rocks. And the line kind of moved. So we came down a side street and we pulled up. We had our Explorer. We're in the middle of it.
Oh, God.
And then I take a left, and all of a sudden, like, this guy threw a rock at, like, the A-pillar, kind of just above the door.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, keep driving. Like, seen this before.
Uh-huh.
Like, in Iraq, we used to, the ROE was shoot at rock throwers, shoot them or shoot at them. I'm like, all situation dependent. If you're going 5 miles an hour or if you're going 50 miles an hour, there's a big difference on what a rock's going to do to a windshield.
Mm-hmm.
So we go, and we see this, like, one of our guys, Gav, points at, he's like, that's the instigator right there. Like, fireworks right at our guys, throwing rocks.
So they have the guy pinned.
Yeah, we're like, our LT goes, all right, let's go to good old snatch and grab. And I'm like, yup. And in my head, I'm like, wait, we've never practiced this.
What's a good old snatch and
I
grab?
go, I get the idea of it.
I'm in.
So he goes, hey, we need volunteers. And, like, me and a couple of senior guys, a couple of guys raised as, like, 6 or 7 guys. We're like, yeah, let's do it. So we get in the van, and we're like, all right, we're going to drive up, get out, rush this kid, get him in the van, pull back. And we're gas masks.
Yep.
Like, everything.
You're full kitted out.
So we haul ass to the line, jack the brakes, get out, and the kid just runs. And this is like, he's in, like, sneakers, shorts, and a tank top.
And you're full kit with gas mask.
Full kit.
Good luck.
All of a sudden, we're, like, running down this side street, full mask and everything. I'm like, this girl goes, what the fuck? It's like, like 7 SWAT dudes chasing this one dude
Yeah.
away. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, what the fuck?
He's
Like, what are
right.
we doing?
Uh-huh.
He gets behind a house, and now all of a sudden, like, he's behind a house.
You're trying to
Get
call
your
out.
mask on. And I'm like, go behind the house. He dips out, like, gone. So everyone's like, you catch him? I'm like, no. He's like, either way, we get the instigator out of the equation.
Yeah, he knows you're after him now.
Yeah, so then it died down after that. But that was like, getting a foot chase with my gas mask was always like, why am I running with a gas mask during the SWAT drill? This is stupid.
And here you are.
And then after that, I started doing more sprints because I'm like, you know, you learn, like, once you start rolling around with somebody and your jiu-jitsu's not great and they get up, you're like, I need to work on that.
For sure.
And then I'm like, dude, I need to work. And I always enjoy working on sprints because I hate long distance.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of lungs working with me. So I was like, you know, get there quick.
Yep.
So that was a memorable one.
Let's shift gears to the Thin Blue Ride
Yeah.
of what you're doing now. So everything you've accomplished, you've gone through all the battles of cancer, and then you, with everything you've gone through, you had some medical bills afterward. You got, even though you had great insurance, there's still expenses that come along with everything that you had, and you decided to give back to the law enforcement veteran community along with their families, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into what you're doing now and how you're giving back to the community.
All right. So, well, Thin Blue Ride, the name is based off of our cycling team. So we raised money for Dana-Farber Cancer Research.
Okay.
That was when I was getting better, still doing treatment. I started cycling, and I loved it. I'm like, this is so much fun. I suck at running.
Yep.
I'm like, I could do 20 miles. I could, like the other day, first time out this year, which was still late, I did 26 miles, and I felt great.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And New England's a good place to ride because it's hilly. You get some shade from the trees and like some good back roads. So started Thin Blue Ride. First year we raised $26,000 for cancer research at Dana-Farber.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Good for you.
And they took my story. I think WBZ from Boston highlighted me as one of their opening ceremony scenes because I thought my cancer stuff was normal. And little did I know, people are like, you should write a book. You should do this. So once I sat in the back seat and I'm like, oh, that wasn't normal for me to get cancer 27 times. Like,
Yeah.
so turned it into a 501c3.
Okay.
I had $26,000 in copays, like CT scan, that's $600 copay. 5 days in the hospital without insurance, it's 35 grand. What do you think the copay is going to be? So my friends had a benefit from me, raised a good amount of money. I paid off credit card debt. I wasn't working. I was working as if I was getting paid 40 hours a week through our sick bank, which was great, but not everyone has that.
Yeah.
Some people work a lot of details, meaning they work road jobs and they get paid good money, but you're also working. So if you're a cop and you're the breadwinner for the family and you get a stay-at-home husband or a stay-at-home wife and they're not working, they're watching the kids, and you're working 40 hours regular and then you're working 40 hours details, and then that cop gets sick and has cancer, that 40 hours of details you're not getting.
Yeah.
So some people get used to that. I never did a lot of details, which helped me. Like if I planned a ski trip, I'd be like, yep, let's work some details, pay for my Icon pass or pay for a trip to go out to Park City, and that's it. So,
But a lot of law enforcement depend on that.
yeah.
Okay.
So we turned Thin Blue Ride into a 501c3. We raise money for military veterans, first responders, and their families when they get cancer. So we have a process.
Good for you guys.
We say, like, prove that you're a vet and have cancer, which people are more than likely happy to send us.
Easy to do.
It's tough to get these males to ask for help, but I tell them, hey, I had 26 grand in copays with good insurance. And they say, oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
And I also let them know, like, what I've been doing holistically to keep healthy.
Okay.
Like I recently bought like a red light for red light therapy. I got a hot tub and cold plunge. I was able to get some stem cell treatment. So like those are other options to help you live a healthier life. It costs money, but so doesn't your health. Like what's that worth?
For sure. So now that you're dealing with, you're in a very tough world, which is cancer, because people lose the battle all the time.
Yeah.
And so now that you're dealing with these men and women that are battling it, what are some of the biggest struggles that you see with cancer patients and what they're dealing with on a day in and day out?
Every situation's different. Some people that we help, some people that I help, I've helped people since after I got sick. Someone's like, my dad got sick, my uncle got sick, and I'm more than happy to give helpful information because I've gone through so many procedures and treatments. So that's why they'll text me or message me, hey, I'm going through this. But yeah, I'm like, one of them, go to Boston. Say go to Boston. Or a lot of guys that were helping on the military side are going to MD Anderson down in Texas. There's places in California. There's good places around the country.
That's where my brother, I think, ended up, was MD Anderson. And
so from what I hear, they have good stuff. They're a good hospital. But some people have a hard time with that diagnosis. And it's not supposed to be easy. But I think my mindset has been, it could always be worse. We were in Iraq. We were down to 1 MRE a day, 2 bottles of water. There was dudes in Baghdad dealing with hand-to-hand combat. I'm like, well, that ain't us, so it could be worse. And then fast forward to, you have cancer. Oh, we're going to take out your right testicle. Oh, it could be worse, dude. Like, and then the next thing. There was always a light at the end of the tunnel for me, which helped me.
Okay.
Maybe if they told me something was terminal, my mindset would have shifted a little bit. There was a little bit of the poor me stuff towards the end of like, the brain cancer and it was, I wouldn't say dark, but just like settling in, like, why the fuck is this happening? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
So
why me?
Like, yeah, why me? Like, I eat right. I fucking do good things. It's, and then you have the cops I work with, like, it can't happen to the bum on the street drinking friggin' handle of vodka a day. And I'm like,
heroin the last 10 years.
Again, yeah. And I'm like, I don't wish bad on anybody, but living a healthy life, working out, trying to eat right, like meditate, do yoga, work out, do hard shit intentionally, because when it's time for that outside hard stuff to come, the unknown, you know how to mentally process and dealing with struggle. And anybody who's dealt with struggle has grown. If you battle through and keep your head up, you're going to come through struggle like tenfold.
For sure.
So there's growth in struggle.
Absolutely.
And it shows.
And there should be. And if you're going through hard times and you're struggling and you're not finding the positives in it, how to grow from it, learning from it, then you're in that victim mentality. I personally feel, because you should be able to head on every hardship scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we overcome this? How do we pivot?
Yeah.
Like, and so now that you're in that mindset of constantly doing something hard, you're ready for it.
Yeah, and I think it's huge. Like I always say, in everything bad, there is a little bit of good.
Okay.
You got to find that and hold on to it.
So what was the little bit of good with you getting diagnosed with cancer?
The amount that I've helped people.
Yeah. How much have you guys raised so far to give back to the community?
Probably over 800,000.
What's so emotional about talking about this?
I think it's coming to fruition now, because I wrote this book. It came on Amazon like last week. I got a screenshot from my aunt whose friend is reading it and said she can't put it down, and I hope he's doing well. I got a guy who's dealing with CML, who's a cop, who was having a hard time with his diagnosis. I talked to him for an hour and a half last week, and he sent me a picture, like he went on a bike ride.
Really?
And he's highlighting stuff I wrote in the book. I'm like, that's what it's all about. Because there was a point in my life, like post-Iraq, maybe pre-Iraq, being in the military. And I told myself, I'm like, my life resume sucks. I'm like, I've been doing some good stuff, but nothing great. I like what I do. I don't love what I do. There's something that's missing.
More purpose.
Yeah, and like this is it. And literally like this week, it's like
all coming to fruition for you. I'm happy for you, man. That's pretty awesome.
Feels good.
And to be able to give back to the community, it's tough.
Yeah.
And for people listening, to start your own 501, and I think I was looking at numbers, you're just short of almost raising $1 million so far that you've given back to veterans and law enforcement, which is an incredible thing. So.
Like we raise money. We don't take any of the money. Me, my buddy Joe, my buddy Mike. Joe's another cop. Mike's my buddy who got me into cycling, who's a CO. My buddy Justin. Like I say it's easy. We facilitate.
Okay.
We find out somebody's sick. We tell them we're going to help them. We get the info we need. We put a post up. We say, hey, so-and-so is sick. Put up some pictures of them. We could be as detailed or as vague as I want. Raise money for them.
Okay.
Give them a check. And we add funds to it. It could be $100. It could be $5,000, depending on like what's raised. Like if we raise $250 for somebody, we'll add another like $250 to it.
Okay.
If we raise $35,000 for somebody, we'll add like $5,000 to it. And it, we're a small nonprofit. We've helped people in California, Texas,
so you're nationwide,
all over, and we're trying to like follow Thin Blue Ride on Instagram and social media, and go to our website, and like I want people to be like, oh, I know somebody that could help you, and we could help you. Like I could, if you don't want money, I could talk to you. We can get you on the right path. Like I like sharing my story if it's going to help people.
I have a campaign that you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to get veterans and law enforcement officers that are into riding and map out a path, and you need to do a ride, a long distance ride, maybe East Coast to down to Florida, whatever, east to west, to raise awareness for this, because that would be extremely impactful to have people that have served our country, law enforcement or veterans, coming together that have now battling cancer due to burn pits. I feel my time's coming. How many veterans are we seeing now that are dealing with the VA? I don't know if you know, like you've seen some huge things on that. That's, I guess, my next question. But it would be cool to see that come together.
Yeah.
And then to raise that awearness, that level of awareness that would come from it, that would put eyeballs on it.
That was always the thing in the back of my head. I always wanted to go west to east or do a big ride.
What's stopping you?
I think, I don't know, maybe logistics, maybe the reality.
No. Absolute logistics. Get out of here. No, it'd be a nightmare, but it's doable.
Yeah.
And let's just see the traction that it gains.
Yeah.
I'll ride with you through Idaho if you come this way.
All right. I mean, I love the idea of it.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking putting this on the internet. I'm going to clip this spot just to put you on blast to help raise awareness for your organization. Because you're doing incredible things. You're not taking any money. You're raising money just to give to these men and women that are coming down with cancer.
Yeah. Because
there's a lot of co-pays. There's a lot. They're missing work. So they're not being, a lot of companies aren't just helping that. And like, I look at my brother, and this is why it means a lot to me, because my brother was the provider for his family. He wasn't a veteran or military. He was just a blue collar guy. Mm-hmm. I remember talking to my mom, and I'm like, how's Dave feeling? She's like, God, he just got home. He's been in attics cleaning out bats and raccoons out of people's, because he was a state trapper guy. And he just finished chemo 2 days ago, but he had to go back. And he's deathly ill, climbing in 150-degree attics in Houston.
In the heat with chemo. I passed out of the restaurant one time. It was like super hot, didn't hydrate enough because I was somewhere, I went to like a fair or something. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I feel funny. And then I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom, which I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I knew something was weird. So I'm like, I got to go. I'm glad I didn't go because I passed out right at the table. And this was before the last session of chemo of the 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So then I go back to the hospital. They're like, "Oh, did you have a seizure?" So they're doing all these other scans, and I'm just like, "No, it's heat exhaustion. I know it is."
Really?
And then it,
That'll
it's just
get
your
ya.
body. Your body is resilient, but it goes through a lot of trauma when you're doing. So like the amount of trauma that my body's gone through with all these surgeries and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah. And then you're expecting that husband or wife, whoever's
Yeah.
providing, to just deal with it
Yeah.
and go back to
And
work.
another thing for the spouses too. Like I've seen it's very hard for the spouses to deal with cancer diagnosis
For sure.
because being a military guy, being a cop, we see a problem, we want to figure out a way over it, right?
Yes.
And that's how you get over things.
Yep.
If your wife or kid is sick, you can do nothing but just be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cure their disease. You can't make them feel better. Like and I've seen it. We're problem solvers and we can't solve that problem, which is tough.
Yeah, that'll wear on you for sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine having to be a father or a husband and to watch your kids deteriorate. I watched my parents watch their son deteriorate to nothing. That's the most traumatic, hardest shit I've ever had to go through.
Yeah.
Of watching that my brother lose his battle, and so I get it. And the fact that you guys are what you're doing to help in those times. It
gets dark too. Like sometimes I'll get a call, somebody that we've helped passes away or somebody's diagnosed, and it just like wears on me. Even though I don't know them like I know a lot of my close friends. And then my wife's like, Kelly does a good job. She's like, all right, let's refocus his energy and, get to helping.
It's kind of why I was asking a little bit ago if the help that it's got to be tough because you're getting to know these people on a personal level, as personal as you can get while they're going through their treatments and everything like that. And so you are building a bond and a relationship with them to certain levels.
And not everybody's is
not going to make
hey, I'm cancer free.
A lot of people are getting the terminal call.
Yeah.
And then it's just then you can't just turn off the support. You got to ride it all the way until their last breath.
Yeah.
And then now that's another one. And then you're helping the next person, and let's say they go. And so now with your line of work, it's at least for us, we're getting to help these vets, and we get to see this positive income, and we spark this fire within them, and now they're doing incredible with you. Yeah, it is God's work because you're dealing with a lot of people that aren't making it, and I commend you for that. It can't be easy because then you're taking a lot of that weight and burden on because you feel invested in these people in a positive way, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
because I'm sure a lot of people don't have anybody.
Yeah,
it's knowing that you guys are out here, a fellow vet, a fellow law enforcement officer, and you're with them through their journey through recovery or as long as they make it. You know, and it's pretty tough.
It's tough. I think starting this, that wasn't in the line of sight.
No.
But you know what I mean? Then it comes up and it's like, man, like, but there's still good behind, like we're still helping the family.
Absolutely.
Like I still get calls from Tracy Lapana, who AJ was amazing guy. I met him twice. I talked to him a bunch. Green Beret, Middleborough cop, like awesome guy, awesome network of family and friends, super supportive. And, you know, he didn't make it, but the connection that I have with his wife, Tracy, she came and spoke at one of our golf tournament events. And like, when we're trying to raise money, I hate asking people for money, and we are grinding. Like we sell t-shirts and we have events.
For sure.
We don't have corporate sponsors. We don't have people matching our donations. Like we have, our golf tournament is a good moneymaker. It's a lot of work to get sponsors and stuff. But then to have people like, hey, we're asking for money for raffle tickets and whole sponsors. And then all of a sudden Tracy gets up there and speaks and you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
And we've had other speakers that we've helped in the past, and that hits home to our guests saying that like, this is what we're doing. Like, it's not just asking for money golfing, because I hate asking for money for people, but you know, that's part of it. Money is not the cure, but it helps.
It's the root of all
especially
evil,
for this, because I have numbers. I mean, and I'm no investigative journalist. guess how many people get diagnosed with cancer every day? 5,600 people in the United States get diagnosed with cancer every day.
Wow. I had no idea.
And there was only 16% of veterans use the VA for care. So I forget what the number is for the VA soldiers getting diagnosed with cancer, but picture 5,300 of World War II, Vietnam, GWAT vets, and the veterans who served in the U.S. on all these bases that had exposure, all these OCONUS bases outside the United States, all these places where guys had burn pits. Like,
guilty of that.
Yeah, like those numbers of that 50, I mean, there's a lot of vets and there's a lot of people that are exposed.
You're saying
5,600 Americans get diagnosed.
A day?
A day.
5,600. Can you do that math? Please, we're both veteran. I'm Marine, so I'm definitely not doing the math. 5,600 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that a year?
Let's see. 56.
You're supposed to be the
65. 2 million. 2 million. 440,000. A year.
A year.
A year. And then there's also, let's see. I mean, never mind I have two numbers, 4.2 to 3.5 million veterans served global war on terror. And like, how many of those guys?
Because you see these numbers. I haven't dug into them yet because it terrifies me.
So 153 veterans a day are diagnosed, according to the VA, which only 16% of veterans use the VA.
Only 16% of veterans use the VA?
Yeah. And I mean, I get that through the National Library of Medicine. Like,
that's insane.
These are quick searches that I've done. I'm not.
Let's say it's 25% of veterans use the VA. That is insane to me.
Over 500,000 of those have been diagnosed with cancer. Over 500,000 GWAT veterans have been diagnosed with cancer, not counting World War II. You know what I mean? The other vets, Vietnam, all that stuff. And those guys are tough as nails. They won't even go to the VA.
And this isn't a thing. Like, why isn't this?
Well, I mean, another thing is chemo companies is over 15 that I checked out. Pfizer made $5.1 billion in 2022 for cancer drugs.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. How long were the lines at your chemo treatment?
I go to Dana-Farber. If you go to any cancer clinic Monday through Friday, sometimes there's a line to get in at 7 a.m. and they're packed. Outpatient.
They're just printing money.
Yeah.
They're printing money.
There's no cure for cancer, right? 3 years ago, I got diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia.
So it came back.
I was 7 years cancer-free.
Sorry to hear that, man.
So I was taking Tasigna, which is a CML drug, causes bone pain, and I was working. I was on the mounted unit, riding horses in the city, which is crazy. So I was still on the SWAT team, but my regular day job was riding horses.
Really?
Yeah, one time AC called. He's like, "Hey, we get a SWAT call out," and I'm like, "Dude, heading to the station."
Really?
It was nuts. So funny.
Really? Do you get to use that horse for force?
Well, you can. Our horses were great. I was terrified to ride them. They were fun, and even horse people are like, you ride these things in the city, like people
zip by on
like the bikes or the mopeds with the loud exhaust or the
car backfires,
or a guy jackhammering in the city, and the horse is like, you gotta hold those things down. They're wild.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, so I mean, it was fun, but so then I was on the mounted unit, and I would go. We were posted up at the jail, House of Corrections, and we had our barn there, and I'd work out, and when I would run. At the time, I just turned 40, and my O2 levels were garbage. I'm like, what? I'm like, why does running feel like crap? I'm like, is this what old age is?
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the pulmonologist. She said, we need to do a stress test. So let's walk up and down the hallway. And I said, I can't. That's not. I go, could I run the stairs? So she said, yeah, I guess you could run the stairs. So I'm like, walking's not going to get my O2 levels down. So I walked down the stairs, run up, walk down, run up. My O2 levels were like 87.
What are they supposed to be at?
I mean, 100.
Okay.
But they could probably drop to like mid to low 90s. When they're in the 80s, 87, 85, then your organs aren't getting the oxygen,
Okay.
which isn't good, I guess. So I start doing stress tests, checking my heart, checking my lungs. Is it the the leukemia pills? I switch meds. It doesn't go away. So I'm in limbo for 2 years. I'm out of work for 2 years. They did a heart test where they ran an arterial line down my neck into my heart. And that was a jacked up procedure. It was supposed to be like a half an hour. It was like an hour and a half. And I'm awake and I hear, oh, it's oozing. I'm like, what? And I kind of like the medical stuff. Like I've kind of thrived in like that combat lifesaver, stop the bleeding type stuff. Like I kind of understand it. And telling myself like, all right, stay calm. They're cutting in. He goes, oh, I'm going to need a stitch. I'm like, you didn't say that before. And then they push this thing down my artery. And I had this like, I didn't mean to do it, but it caused me to like have an agonal noise, like a weird,
Okay.
uncontrolled noise.
Okay.
And I said, hey, just to let you know, like I didn't mean to make that noise. And they're like, yeah, your arteries are like really tight. I'm like, okay. And then the machine wasn't working to do some. So I was in the OR for a while.
Oh
and
God.
Kelly's in the waiting room. And then they say, yeah, we'll bring him out after a half an hour, 40 minutes. An hour and 20 minutes later, they wheel me out and go. So I have to go to this room to do a stress test. So they put me on a stationary bike. I'm like crucifix style. My arms are out to my side. They find my arteries through my wrist.
Oh, so they never ended up going.
No, they did. So they do both.
So you still have this,
So I have this
in you.
thing in me.
Okay.
And then I go, are you good at this? And she said, yeah, I'm really good. She stuck me like 5 or 6 times. And I was fasting. So I was cranky. And your veins are like super tight. Yeah. So I get on the stationary bike and I'm a cyclist. So I'm like, I'm going to crush this. So they put, my arms are out to my side, like crucifix style. They put this x-ray machine that looked like a microwave on my chest, strap my feet in. And then I had like a snorkel type breather. And then they pinched my nose with this like clothespin.
Oh my God.
And I had to pedal. And every minute it would get harder. And every minute they would call wedge and they would draw blood from my arteries and check the oxygen levels from my heart in this little window behind me. I did it for like 8 or 9 minutes. It was the worst experience out of any surgery I've ever had.
It sounds like it.
Dude, it was nuts.
Are you sitting up or laying down?
I was on a bike.
Oh, like legit.
Like
so
like a 1980s stationary bike.
And you're sitting there and they got you strapped
like
crucifix style.
Yeah.
So
I get done, they pull that out, and then I'm in the waiting room, and this is probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was fasted from all morning, and all the trauma that my body just went through. And the doctor's talking to Kelly, and I go, I don't feel good. I'm like, I'm going to pass out. So they brought out some like Gatorade and crackers, and then I went across the street. They go, yeah, there's a bar across the street with some good food. I crushed. It was like, I think I had like chicken tenders and like French onion soup, ate it. Like it reminded me of my first meal I had in Iraq where I was shoveling stuff in, had bugs on it and everything. I'm like, dude, I was so hungry. And that test revealed it got to the low 90s for O2. And they're like, yeah, it looks good. But I said, I was on a bike and it was harder every time. I could get my O2 levels like, I ride my Peloton all the time. I ride my bike. I could get on my Peloton and do a high RPM with lighter resistance and get my heart rate down. Whereas this bike kept getting harder and harder and harder. So it was more like muscular than it was cardio.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that was a bullshit test. I go, plus I'm not going to chase after anybody on a bicycle. Well, I was on the bikes for like a little bit, but the weight of running, the resistance, like when I go upstairs, my O2 levels drop. So I still work out. I still do jiu-jitsu. I have an O2 sensor. So like even when I come out west and go skiing, I take a day off to take oxygen and
Okay.
get an IV and settle in. Like, I've realized my new normal has shifted.
For sure.
So that's what caused me to retire.
Mm.
So I retired at 50% of my retirement on a medical disability. I did 18 years. I was able to buy back 2 years from military with the city. And there's no like cancer clause for retiring early. So firefighters have cancer. We don't. Cops don't get cancer. We have the heart bill and we have stress if you want to retire early.
Really?
Yeah. So you could get 72% for stress, like stressful incident, or cops have cardiac issues. So you could do heart bill. We had to like dig and find a way because there was a time where I'm like, there's no light duty at our department. It's from our union or something. So there's no light duty. Everybody as a cop is expected to perform at whatever level. Even if I was behind the desk in the office and someone came in shooting up the place or had to get apprehended, you have to perform as any other cop.
For sure.
Granted, that's not the case because there's different standards and people don't, but that's another thing.
Yeah.
So I was happy with my career. It's weird to say like I'm a retired cop or I'm retired at 42 years old, but I've totally accepted it. If this was 10 years on the job without having SWAT and the experiences, I would have been like, no, I want to stick with it. But having the experiences I've had, now being a dad, like 2 stepkids, 2 of my real kids, like, I mean, my stepkids are my kids.
You speak very highly of them.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. We actually talked about it last night, how proud you are
Yeah.
of claiming these children
Yeah,
as yours,
like
which is great, man. That's
they
how,
claim me just as much
that's
as
how it
I
should
claim
be. I
theirs.
hate the term step.
Yeah, like I never use it. Like I say it so people understand, but it's like they're not my stepkids.
Don't.
Like,
Stop using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, like if that's, I'm 100% one. Like
Yeah.
if you're raising those kids and they accept you as yours and you're their dad, that's, I'm with it.
Yeah.
It's
It's funny, like when I printed the book, Vivi, she just turned 11. She's like, Dada, she's like, I got your first book. I'm like, all right, babe, you got the book. And
Let's talk about your book.
She slept with it under the pillow her first night.
Beyond Survival, man. So what led you to write this book?
So this was when I was doing those tests.
Okay.
I thought it was a heart thing, and that scared the crap out of me. And what also scared me was that I had 2 kids, and I don't remember when I was their age. I said, if I, go, like, if I die, what are they going to know about me?
Yeah.
So I wrote the book, and I didn't plan it. I didn't brainstorm. I just dumped everything on paper. Oh, sorry, in my computer. Kelly got home from a work trip. She goes, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm writing a book. She's like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And I hate sitting down for long periods of time. I hate computers. 3 hours a day. I'd do that once a week. It'd be 2 hours. It'd be 4 hours. So like once a week I would do it, maybe every 2 weeks.
Just chip away at it?
Yeah, it took a year to do it. And then all based off memory. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't taking journals like my whole life. So, and I wrote it. I reached out to a few publishing companies, and I'm clueless on what to do. I reached out to my buddy Chris Cathers, he's got terminal cancer. He's a former Green Beret, awesome guy. He has a nonprofit called Brothers Keeper that helps get veterans resources that are dealing with suicide.
Okay.
So he's doing a great job, and I know he knows people that have written books. He helped out. He had me reach out to a bunch of people, and I kind of went from there. And then my best friend AC, his wife, she's like, oh, I know a ghostwriter. So a ghostwriter is somebody who helps somebody write their book.
Yeah.
They're the author.
Yep.
So I wrote my book.
They fine tune it?
Yeah, they fine tune it. He just kind of went through, and I read that book, and it's just like I wrote it. It's just, a little cleaner. So Dennis Vaness, he does a great job. He's from like a few towns over. He's got a son who just joined the Army. He's out in Germany. His daughter's in oncology. So he heard my story. He's like, dude, we're going to do this. And like, I think he knocked it out of the park.
That's badass. You got a picture of your scar?
Yeah.
They cut. That's where they broke your rib?
Yeah.
Damn. You got all kinds of stuff in here, man. I see Mount Everest.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good trip.
All right, we got a little bit of time. Tell me this trip of Mount Everest, and we'll end it on that.
All right. So funny story. I have a buddy, Chase.
Okay.
He's my team leader on the SWAT team, and my buddy Paul, who's a sniper on the SWAT team. So Paul said, "Oh, I'm going to Everest with Chase." I said, "Oh, cool." I'm like, "I want to go." He goes, "All right, I'm going to check with him." Paul's son's name is Chase. He's in the Air Force.
Okay.
Space Force. So I didn't know I was butting into a father-son trip.
Okay.
Because I saw my buddy Matt. I go, "Dude, you going to Everest with Paul?" He's like, "What? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh crap!" I'm like, "He's talking about his son." So then Paul was like, "Yeah, Chase said you could go." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we went on like the low budget end of the trip. I think it was $1,500 for the flight, $1,500 for the service. So we flew to get his son. He was in the military. We went out to Minnesota, picked him up, flew to Vancouver, flew to southern China, then flew to Nepal.
That's a trek.
Yeah, it was a trek. I was like, man, next time I'll just fly on my own. Because I went to China right when I got out of Iraq, and I flew. It was from Chicago to Beijing, like over the North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping for something like that, but this was a lot longer. So we get to Nepal. We did a few days in Nepal. And for as crazy, like, dirty city, it is such a cool place.
Really?
Everybody, like, there's no horns beeping. Nobody's yelling. There's a lot of people, but everyone's just, like,
Cruising
doing the thing. They're very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see some temples. We get to see where they burn bodies on the river.
Yeah.
So the eldest son has the honor to burn their father or mother or whatever. So it's like the river leads into the Ganges River in India, which is, I'm not sure how far from there, but they burn the body and they put these wet leaves on it to kind of keep the fire going. And then they put those ashes in the river that ends up. It was wild to see. It was very interesting.
There's actually quite a few cultures that burn their bodies.
Yeah.
Still, and
it seemed very peaceful. And we get to watch it. We get to walk through like people are having services and it's
full celebration. I mean,
free. Some people are wailing, crying, very colorful with some of the stuff they're wearing. And it seemed to me, it made more sense than getting in a box and burying 6 feet and paying a ton of money. And like, this is back to the earth. So we did some Nepal stuff. Took a small plane to Lukla Airport or Tenzing Hillary Airport.
Okay.
Like one of the most dangerous airports in the world.
Why?
So it is a mountain. So if you're short, you're hitting the mountain.
Okay.
And if you're too far, you're hitting a wall.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to Google this.
Yeah, it's pretty. I got some good pictures of it. So the runway is like downhill. So when the planes come in, like I have a video of it. Of landing, like you don't see anything, and then you're on a runway. And then I'm laughing and clapping because it's only like one lane or one row on one side, one row on the other. You put cotton balls in your ears. And before every flight, you could see the flight attendant and the pilots like serving tea like it's their last friggin' meal. And what they do is they use
warming.
They use line of sight to land. So you'll see the plane, like you could look through the curtain that's flapping.
Yeah.
And one plane will land, and then it'll move. One plane will land, it'll move over, and then they take off. So you're jockeying in the airport to like try to get on a plane because once it's red, like you can't fly, and then you have to wait like a day or a few days if it's foggy. So we flew in, met our guide. We had a guide and two porters, and the porters carried our big bags, which we felt like a jerk, but you're at like 9,000 or 10,000 feet. You're paying the local economy, and you're helping yourself on your trip. And it is a cool trip. You can do it yourself because there's no cars. Once you get to Lukla, we chose to hike 3 hours to a village where other people stay in the village overnight and then hike.
Okay.
So there was only 3 of us. Some groups I saw 20 people
in a group.
I'm like, dude, I'd lose my mind because they're like, you're waiting for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul's super fit, Chase is fit, and I got half my lungs. This is 2019. So I'm like, I don't even know if I could do this. So we do 3 hours, chill. And we call it the mountain brew. It was like tea with honey and ginger or whatever.
Okay.
And then it was vegetarian for that whole trip because there's no refrigeration. So we hiked another 8 hours a second day, super steep up to the Namche Bazaar, which is one of the very high village, like one of the last big villages on the way to Everest Base Camp. And I got sick as a dog. I'm in my sleeping bag.
Altitude sickness or just like
Altitude
you drank
sickness.
raw water type of sick?
Yeah, so it was super steep, and I'm trying to keep up, and I'm like pushing myself. I get in my sleeping bag, and I'm telling myself, I'm going to have to go home and tell everybody I didn't do base camp. So it was a base camp trek. We weren't trying to hike Everest. I'm like, I'm going to have to fly. I'm going to have to fly to the Philippines or something and chill out, or, you know, I'm planning my other vacation in my head because I can't go any further. I wake up, I have some dalbat, which is like a local meal. I felt like $1 million.
Okay.
I have pictures of my O2 levels at like 62.
Oh, God.
And I show that to my pulmonologist now, and she's like, that is stupid. So, but once you get to that height, you have like a rest day where your body acclimatizes, and then you hike up maybe 1,000 meters, and then you hike back down. So your rest day, you're actually still hiking. You go down, and then it'd be a 6 or an 8 hour day to another village.
Yeah.
And then you get to their tea house. They have a lot of like Danishes and coffee and stuff, and they show a lot of like Everest movies, which is funny because you see stuff on the walls from people that climbed Everest.
That's cool.
It's wild. It's back in time. It's so cool. And everywhere you look, it's like summit to the ground of just like sheer cliffs and beautiful mountains everywhere. And we kept going, so I felt better. And I remember this was like day 3 after the Namche Bazaar. I had a headache from the elevation, and I'm like, oh, let me just stand on my head. And I wanted that to be the cover of the book. So bad.
Really?
Yeah. And
so this is at Everest.
yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
The publishing company, the picture was too grainy, so they couldn't use it. So I found Kill the Ball Media, my buddy. He made it work. I go, I don't care if it's a little grainy. Like, that is a cool picture.
Yeah.
I went to the Barnes and Nobles and looked at covers, and I'm like,
we're good.
This is the best. I'm like, it's like from here up or just their face. I'm like,
well, I feel like, no offense, well, you're smiling, got a hat on, but like every author's picture is like some cheese stick.
Yeah.
They're in a suit. Like,
the corduroy suit with the elbow pads.
I wrote a book. Like, I published a book.
Yeah. So, and I think that's cool. Like,
I love that.
So it took 6 days to get to Everest Base Camp. Chase got really sick.
A week to get there?
Yeah.
Once you landed in country, it took you a week to get to base camp.
Yeah. And it's funny because you don't even see the mountain. So at one point, it was funny. When I did that really steep hike, when we get to the top, there were these dudes like rolling these dice, and they had a mat on the ground with pictures, and your dice had to match the pictures. So I started gambling a little bit just for fun.
Okay. And
then I like won some money, and then I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. But you could see Everest like through the trees silhouetted it perfect. And you could see Everest like just a bit.
Okay.
And then you hike and you go to different villages, and you see, like, I got Mount Amadablan tattooed. Like, it's a gorgeous mountain. It's the peak, it looks normal, and then you go to the side, it's kind of gnarly. It kind of looks like Zermatt, like that steep peak in Switzerland.
Okay.
Very cool. A lot of people climb that. So then we get to base camp, and Chase had to get airlifted off because he got sick.
Really?
Yeah.
So here you are going on this base camp Mount Everest trip with chunks of your lung missing, and you think you're going to be the one that's a problem.
Yeah.
And one of these guys ends up getting life flighted instead.
And it's crazy too, because altitude sickness, like I'm sure like you could get it or not get it. You could go to the mountains a million times. Everybody at one time. I think it's like if your body's fighting something. So they flew him. We had Nomad insurance, like travel insurance, and the highest that helicopter could go was that. It wasn't base camp. It was a 3-hour hike to base camp from the village. So the helicopter flew to the village, $7,000 to fly him back to Kathmandu. And they had to pay that up front because you could go to base camp and be like, yeah, I'm sick. I need to get airlifted out of here.
Your lazy ass doesn't want to walk a week back.
So once you go to the hospital, I think they justified him being there. So he had fluids and he felt better. He flew to some other place that his buddy told him about. But me and Paul kept going. So he went back with a porter.
Okay.
So we had a porter and our guide. And our guide loved us because we were moving. Like, we were almost keeping up with our porter.
Oh yeah.
which they don't like. Like they're ripping butts, they're hiking. They're like, they don't want these tourists beating them to the tea house.
And I'm sure they're used to just the most
Yeah.
out of shape.
Oh yeah. And I was impressed with a lot of the people I saw there. I did see some kids there. I'm like, these kids got to be from Colorado or something because they were like, you know, 10, 12 years old. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Those are the hippie kids.
Yeah.
Their parents are just like hiking hippies and take them everywhere with them. They're, we're going to do a
I'm like, that's
14K
impressive,
today.
dude. I'm like, that's cool. So, but I wasn't pushing it. I was, let me put my headphones in. Let me do my pace. Because after that second day of like
trying to keep up,
so they'd be a mile ahead and they'd wait for me. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah.
Because I'm not ruining my trip. And Paul's a super fit guy. And then towards the end, like he started getting sick too a little bit. Like it's not an easy thing. So we went to base camp and we came down and then we went through Cholla Pass, which was like a snowy pass. We had to hike up this gnarly thing, like not climb, like we're climbing hands and feet, but not like anything crazy.
Sure.
Like you don't need ropes or anything. We get through that, and then we go to Gokyo-ri, which was I think like 17,600 or 800 feet above sea level.
Yeah, that's.
And we had a beautiful view of Everest and the glacial slide and this bright turquoise water, and then we hiked back. And it was some people go to base camp and back, so you see everything, and then you go back the same way. We went like counterclockwise, and we didn't hit the same trail until the last day. We finished a day early.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys were moving that quick.
Yeah, and then we went back to Kathmandu, and we just partied. It was so much fun.
That's pretty badass, man.
And it was cool because when I had my low oxygen a few years ago, my doctors are telling me it's because of your lungs. It's because you're older. I go, dude, I rode my bike up one of the top 10 hardest climbs in the world. I did Mount Washington because I saw it in a cycling magazine. It said top 10 hardest climbs in the world. I said, I want to do this. And I did it. I just did it by myself. I drove up, rode it, and then rode home.
Really?
It was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah. And that was 2018, 2019, or 2020, whatever. The next year I did that, and that was hard. So my doctors are telling me, oh, it's because you had your lungs ripped out. I said, I had my lungs ripped out in 2015. I went to Everest in 2019 or 2020, and 4 years later, you're telling me it's because of my lungs?
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't
math. Yeah.
It's either, it could be the COVID shot, that's a whole nother conversation. It could be the chemo meds I'm taking, or something else that happened with me that, you know. But it's my new normal. I've accepted it. I've adjusted. That's another thing I wanted to harp on is know your body and be your own advocate. If you know you're feeling good, that's great. If you have something wrong, like torn muscle, something's achy, you feel like crap, you're coughing up blood, like go to the doctors or put a 2-week mark in your calendar. And if it doesn't get better, because typically you pull a muscle, you get better, you get sick, you get better. After that 2-week mark, if you're not getting better, something's up.
Okay.
Then you go to the doctors, and then you ask your doctor, like you push for answers. One, we don't want to know anything's wrong with us. So if the doctor's like, hey, it's because of this, then you're like, all right, cool, see ya. They only want to give you 10 minutes anyways.
Yeah.
So then you can go from there and push for answers saying, well, you know, my lungs aren't acting the way they should, or I'm not feeling the way I should because I know my body. And that's what can help with early detection, which early detection with cancer is what's going to save you over not doing anything over an extended period of time and not wanting treatment.
So speaking of preventive maintenance on cancer, now that you've gone through the ringer and gone everything, is there anything that people can do that have found during your process of going through? Are there tests? Are there I mean, besides watching your body and being in tune with it, what can people do?
Hunter 7 is a nonprofit out of Rhode Island.
Okay.
Chelsea does a great job, and her husband Kyle. They get a blood test done for veterans.
Okay.
And that blood test shows markers for early cancer signs.
Interesting.
And some guys don't want to take it because nobody wants to know something's wrong with them.
That
So
is
like
such the wrong mindset.
every guy who's been deployed or every guy who's been in the military
Mm-hmm.
should take that blood test.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what they do, they help raise money because at some events they have like the free blood draw. I did an event down in Arlington National Cemetery. They had me as like a guest speaker on a panel, and they were doing the blood draws there.
Okay.
And guys were getting results of, oh, I'm an early warning sign for colon cancer.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, dude, if you know that early,
Get on it.
it is gonna save your life.
100%. So you'd recommend, you said it's Hunter 7?
Hunter 7, yeah.
I'll get all the
7
links from
Foundation.
you, and
Yep.
we'll make sure we take them. And then your other buddy's organization. Who did you speak of? Or was that the same one? No. Your Green Beret buddy. I thought you spoke of one before.
Brother's Keeper.
Brothers K.
Yep.
And Hunter 7, and we'll make sure we get yours. But, I mean, if that doesn't make any sense. Like, if these guys are providing a blood test and you can get a blood test that's going to give you any early signs. I mean,
That's
why
huge.
why would you not do that? So, yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to look into that. So I guess in closing, man, everything you've been through, the trials, tribulations, the peaks, the valleys, what is one word of advice for veterans, law enforcement, or anybody else that's in the early stages of cancer? I mean, what's one advice that you would like to give and spread out for everybody?
I'd say for anybody going through cancer that you have good days and you have bad days. If your good day is just getting out of bed and walking to the end of the hall, get after it.
Yeah.
If your good day is going for a run or doing a workout or hiking a mountain, like, go do that.
Yeah.
Those good days have to supersede those days laying in bed with that self-pity
For sure.
where you can't get out of your own head. And doing hard things physically is going to help you mentally. And there's proof. Like, have you ever gone to the gym and done a workout and felt like crap after?
Well, I mean, if you work out with my buddy, yeah, damn near kill
But
you.
I mean, like, your endorphins going, like,
Sure.
you get the blood flowing,
For
like,
sure.
you feel good. Every time you're like, I don't want to go on a run. I hate running. Every time I go on a run, I feel like $1 million after.
Mhm.
I hate doing it while I'm doing it or doing that bike ride or
Mhm.
whatever. You feel great. And another thing that helps is sharing your story. Sharing my story has helped a lot of people because it's either helped them with some knowledge or it's helped motivate them in some way.
Yeah.
And I'll never call myself a motivational speaker, but if my story motivates you, then that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just sharing my story because if it's going to help, I'll tell it 1,000 times.
And why not?
Yeah.
I feel if more, especially men,
Yeah.
women built completely different. They
Yeah.
listen. They know what's going on. They're built. Us as men,
Yeah.
we're dumb.
Stubborn, dumb as rocks. Like,
So we want to fight everything. We want to be stubborn about it all. But if you hear other men speaking about their experiences, their situations, what they could have done in
Yeah.
early stages, something as simple as getting on to Hunter 7 and getting a blood test.
Yeah.
Listen to the people that have gone through and have walked the paths that
yeah.
we're potentially about to go into as we get older. Listen. And so, yeah, I'm with you, man. I wish more men were able to be vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
and tell their stories and traumas and things that they've gone through and problems that they've overcome, because it helps other guys be able to relate to it. Even younger generation, I'm sure women can too, but us as men, we are very stubborn and we want to fight everything. That's how I'm especially built that way. And then when you hear other guys talk about it, you might, oh shit, man, that's
it's
not
like-
that bad.
People that battle cancer and veterans and cops, you see a cop in the room, you're going to go talk to the cop or vets. You're going to gravitate towards people like yourself
For sure.
sometimes, right?
For sure.
And if, like, I've done cancer trips with Send It Foundation, First Descents. We'll do ice climbing, skiing, and I've met up with a group of strangers from around the country, even Canada. Everyone's story is the same, but it's a little different.
Absolutely.
You do a veterans trip, everyone's story is the same, but a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that, I guess, therapy in that because I was lacking that going through my treatment. I saw a bullshit psychiatrist, a psychologist from the city, because I thought I needed to talk to somebody because I thought it was the right thing. And the guy was like, I just was not a fan of him at all. He was the same guy that the city hired to give our in-service about mental health. And he says, oh, police are the number one people that commit suicide. I said, that's a lie. That's not true. We're like 0.2% of the population.
Yeah.
It's blue collar workers are number one because it's true. And they're the majority.
For sure.
So I'm like, this guy's giving false information. And, you know, he's just whatever. Like, he pisses me off. But going with a group for 5 days to go skiing and then have a campfire and sit with these people and listen to their stories, I'm like, fuck yeah, like, same shit. Like, it helps.
Yeah.
So
and you're able to bond with somebody that has gone through it, because I'm sure it's hard to have a buddy over and you're telling them, they cut out my chunks of my lung, I got a hole cut in my brain, and I'm missing a nut, and they're like, oh yeah, but then when you're sitting with somebody, they're like, me too.
Yeah.
Oh shit, how was your surgery? And so how big's your scar? It helps connect, and I've seen it for years with the vet. That's why we did so many incredible group retreats, because there might be that one guy that can relate to somebody else. And I'm all for it, man. I think we need to check our pride.
Yeah.
Start asking for help. Reach out to the programs that are offering it.
Yeah.
With
there's groups on Facebook. I'm on a CML site on Facebook where I check in, and sometimes I'll post stuff like videos. And I had a guy reach out to me, and I helped him out. Like, you could go put a fake, name on there and just say your story. Because if you don't want to be identified, sometimes it's easy to talk to a stranger.
Absolutely. 'Cause you're not judged.
Yeah.
We're not worried about being judged.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to reach out and contact you, you've gone through a lot. You've overcome even more. How do they get a hold of you?
So thinblueride.org. My email's on there. My phone number's even on there, unless I get a ton of spam. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, reach out. We have Thin Blue Ride on Instagram. My personal one is Dage22. I just try and post the stuff I do. I started recently using an Axiom machine. You put distilled water in it. It gives out hydrogen. So I've been breathing in hydrogen, and that's gotten rid of my wheeze that I've had.
Interesting.
So like when I'd breathe in, like you'd hear it, a wheeze. I started using that a couple hours a day. It's gone.
Interesting.
So these guys sent me a machine for free for like 60 days because I told them my story, and they were like, we want to help. They sent it. I used it, and then I recently bought it because I'm like, if it works, I'm going to use it. So stuff like that.
So you have a lot of resources, I feel. Just this quick conversation. Well, I say quick as we hit 3 hours, but this quick conversation. So we're going to tag all of your stuff.
Yep. Books on Amazon.
Books on Amazon. Check it out. I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you coming to Idaho, and
it's been awesome
to experience a little bit of this. And it's a huge thank you from all of us, and I know the guys listening.
Yeah.
Just the resources you put out, some of your life experience, which is pretty awesome. And I'd say now, you said it earlier that you felt like you didn't have quite the life resume.
And I'm like,
I would say yours is you filled up several pages on that. So I'm good and the bad. It's you've definitely got some stories. So
I got to thank you as well. So this one, my team leader, he's a former Marine.
Okay, awesome.
Sniper. His knife company is called Hawktooth Knives.
Hawktooth Knives.
Yeah. So I had to make this neck knife for you.
He's got the EGA on it.
Yep.
Hawktooth Knives, huh? Damn, this thing. Yeah, he's got the Wild Chaos logo on there. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Dude, thank you. Tell him thank you very much. You said he's a sniper?
Yeah, he was a sniper in the Marines.
Dude, how did we get him on the show?
He currently makes, he does a lot of stuff. He does kitchen knives, custom stuff.
Yeah.
Friggin' battle axes, you name it. He's been doing it since he was a kid. And he has some really cool stuff. And yeah, I think he makes the graduates of the sniper school, Marine Corps sniper school. He makes their knives as a graduate.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, tell him thank you. We'll reach out, but I would love to get him on.
Yeah.
It'd be a great episode. So,
awesome.
Well, thank you for this, dude. I appreciate it. And again, thank you for everything in the conversation. This was great. Hopefully, if it reaches one person that's gonna listen, to this, maybe reach out and get some testing done. If we can help one person get ahead of the game early, mission accomplished. I'm cool with it. So
Awesome.
again, thank you.
Thanks.
Brother, I appreciate your time. This was great. It was awesome. Okay.